to episode 177 of Coffee and Co-Read, your source for all things literary with Catherine
and Kristen, where we believe there's nothing better than a hot coffee and an awesome book. Join us for our virtual book club where we take one book a month and dive into all the drama, adventure, and romance we can find. Hi, Catherine.
Hey, Kristen.
So, I don't know if we mentioned it last week, but Catherine and I did something yesterday.
Sounds ominous.
It does sound ominous, but it's not. So Catherine went and got us these awesome, what are they, like, fantasy coloring books?
Yeah.
But so, like, they're all scenes, like, they're all coloring pages based on books, but in a generic way.
Yeah.
So, like, there's no, like, details, but you could be like, oh, there's dragons in this one. This is Fourth Wing. There's a Bat Boy here. This is Akatar. But, like, nothing is specific enough where it violates, like, copyright or anything like that. And it's just, you can imagine it. So we had a coloring date.
We did. And, like, people who are good at coloring could definitely color them in such a way that it would look exactly like...
So good.
Yeah.
Just great.
Yeah. We're learning.
Well, so it's funny. So, I'm sure you've heard me talk about on the podcast before that I have children. So I have essentially an almost 11-year-old and an almost 8-year-old. And my almost 11-year-old is a very artistic. She does a lot of art, drawing. I stole her. She's got Poscas and hoo-hoo markers and Copic markers. If you're in the art world, you know what that means. If you're not, that's just gibberish, which is fine.
Yeah.
So I stole those from her. I had her consent. And I used them for my coloring sheet. And I had to call her up and be like, how do you shade things? How do you add, like, highlights and lowlights to make it good? And she's like, I don't really know how to explain it. You just do.
Thanks.
And I'm just like, great. Thank you so much. And, like, then she was like, give me one of your sheets and I'll do an example. And she literally just colored hair and it was infinitely better than mine.
Yeah. And it's just so funny because, like, obviously, when you're young, you color a lot more. And then you just kind of stop. But, like, if you keep going, you'd be so good.
Yeah. But, yeah, we suck at the shading bit.
Mm-hmm.
We can color.
Ish.
Inside the lines.
Yeah.
I will say, it's not often, too, that I actually, like, finish an entire sheet.
Yeah, me neither. And we did that yesterday.
We did. We did the entire, like, the background, sky, the, like, flooring. We did everything.
Yeah.
So, like...
It's funny.
Way to go, us.
I know. It was definitely interesting. And I texted Jeff and I was like, I'm so bad at coloring. He's like, I'm sure it's fine. And I'm like, it's not. Like, it's hard to picture what colors will look like. It was funny, at one point I was rosying the cheeks of my girl and I looked over and you were rosying the cheeks of your girl and we had not planned it.
Nope, we both rosied.
Yeah.
And it did not look great. Like, we did not do it justice, but it's fine.
Yeah, it turned out, I feel like the background actually helped a lot.
Yeah.
Like, once you got everything else done,
it didn't
better. Look so wild.
Yeah.
You know.
I will do another.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I don't think, like, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to become amazing at it by any means. But I am going to do more.
I might force my child to sit down with me and, like, be like, okay, what do I do? And, like, get... Because I'm somebody who really enjoys step-by-step instructions.
Yeah.
I don't like all of this, like, just do what you want. Like, let your, like, when you go to the paint parties and they're like, just like, if you want to add a little thing here, add a little thing there, it's all, just do what you want to make it, like, your own. And I'm like, no! I don't like that. Tell me exactly what to do.
Yeah. Yeah, same.
So, yeah, this why I actually really enjoy, like, putting together those, like, little scenes, like those bookshelf scenes, because it's step-by-step instructions on what to do, what gets glued where, and, like, paint by numbers, the diamond dot pictures. I love all that shit. But it's because I have a step-by-step instructions on where shit goes.
Like Lego, yeah.
Yes!
Yeah, same. I do like all that stuff. That's the hard thing with, like, I don't have the artistic...
The creativity.
Yeah, to just be like, think it, and then put it down. I'm like, no.
I know, that's like, do you ever remember being in, like, school? Like, just, like, high school, maybe a little bit of university, but mostly, like, junior high school, and you'd look around at people as you were hearing your lecture, and, like, people would be doodling. And I'm like, I don't even think I have the creativity to doodle. Because I'd be like, what little thing do I draw?
I draw spiders when I doodle.
Do you?
Yeah, because they're easy. They're just like a body, a head, and some legs.
They're
not good.
I always did the, like, you know how you do the flowers?
Yeah.
So I would always do flowers, and I would do a little rose, because you know how that's just a swirl, and then you do, like, a U on the swirl, and that's your rose. And then a stem, but then I would, I'd put, like, a bell jar over it, and it would be the Beauty and the Beast flower.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, there's certain things that, like, I've learned to do. Like, I saw a reel once, and it was how to draw a pig, and it was just, like, it's just, like, a bunch of like, his little legs are just W's.
Right, yeah.
And he's just circles and dots. And it's just so easy. So then sometimes I'll draw him because I'm like, a W and a W. So I feel like I just feel like a kid in a bad way.
Just like makes me feel bad at stuff.
Yeah. I guess the word's like infantilized. What is the actual word? I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, no, but you have the word right.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm like, oh, not even good at this stuff. And all the kids are. Not even as good as a child anymore. But it is fun to try it again.
Yeah. And having... I think I mentioned last week that I, like, cleaned out my book nook and stuff. And I totally forgot that I had, like, the ACOTAR coloring book, the Throne of Glass coloring book, I have the Supernatural coloring book. Like, I have all these books that I can color, and I just haven't. Like, I've done a few, but not a few pages in it, but I haven't really gotten deep into it. So it's nice now that you've brought coloring back for me to remember that I can do it, and it's something that I can do over the summer. So it's nice. It's exciting.
Nice.
So
fun times. So, just a heads up, this is not a spoiler-free zone, but like we said last week, we actually haven't finished the book, so it kind of is. But we do like to talk about other books, so keep that in mind. And things finally get a tiny bit spicy this week.
Woo!
Yeah.
So this week is week 3 with A Fate Inked in Blood. And we are reading chapters 19 to 27 this week. So I think quite a bit happens. Like, there's a lot going on. Because I feel like in the past couple weeks, a lot of stuff happened, but it was slow moving, like, location to location.
Yeah.
But this week feels very much like they're here. No, they're here. No, they're here. No, they're here.
Boom,
like,
boom, boom.
Yeah. So, last week, I guess Freya and crew are making, I'm gonna call it a pilgrimage.
Yeah. Seems
to
right.
like this sacred mountaintop where there's like a temple to the gods, and they all like make they all
Sacrifices.
do sacrifices and have like a night of feasting and celebrating after they've made their sacrifices to the gods. So I guess Freya and crew are making their way there because Spectre came and told her she had to. So, however, there's a bunch of Jarls that are like waiting in line to kill her. So her and Bjorn have to take a secret way up a mountain, up the inside of the mountain, very Lord of the Ringsy. There are a bunch of undead zombie guys living in there. They meet them, fight them. Freya kills the leader, which kills the rest of them. And then any leftover, the gods came and took them away, sort of a thing. Or vines came and like dragged them to hell, I assume.
Yeah.
And so then they came out. They had to walk to the gate of the temple, or like it's a forest temple, so like it's sort of outdoors, but they had to pass through. It reminds me of the Percy Jackson gates.
Oh yeah.
Right? So so they had to walk through those gates, but they had to submit to the will of all the gods before the barrier would drop so they could go in. A Jarl is attacking them. She makes it through. Then Snorri attacks, kills the Jarl and all his men, and she figures out that she can project her shield onto her person, and then by proximity, if she's touching someone, she can extend it onto them too, and she protects Bjorn, and it's all lovely. Then they go to the Hall of the Gods, her and Bjorn, and run into Harold, King Harold, who is the king of Nordeland, who kidnapped Bjorn when he was a kid. And that's where we stopped. So, we're picking right up where they left off with Bjorn and Freya talking to King Harold. And Bjorn is sort of surprised that Harold is here because he didn't just have to travel like from a nearby village. Like Halsar is only like a couple of days away.
Yeah.
He had to travel across the sea from another continent. So Bjorn is just surprised that he's here, and Harold's like, "Oh, I felt like I had to prove my devotion to the gods." So again, it's sort of like a pilgrimage is how I'm envisioning this trek, this yearly trek.
Yeah, it seems like it.
I don't even know if it's every year. Every few
it's
years?
every 9.
Every 9 years.
For some reason.
Which is very odd. So it just happens to coincide with all of this happening.
Yeah. They're they're very lucky.
Yeah, convenient.
Yeah.
Harold also mentions that he's like, I need to ask for favor when I take to the seas this summer. And Freya knows that when you take to the seas over the summer, that means you're going raiding. So you're going to raid other cities, other towns. And since Skaland is the closest to Nordeland, she takes that as a threat of he's going to come and raid their shores.
Yeah.
There are some veiled comments about, like, surprising developments, and they're sort of referencing Freya, but everything is discussed in a very, like, politically correct way, I want to say. Like, no one is outright threatening anyone. It's all just sort of veiled undercurrents. Harold also mentions that he's surprised that Freya is still alive, considering so many people want her dead, because no one wants Snorri as the king. And in my head, I'm like, because I think we discussed last week of whether Bjorn is, like, working for Harold.
Yeah.
And, like, in my head, this is sort of goes with that, too, of, like, I'm surprised you're alive. I'm surprised this guy, like, you know, my undercover agent hasn't killed you yet.
Interesting. Because he is acting weird. Like, we do get that a bit later.
Yeah.
So it could be kind of a, like, if he is saying it in a, like, why haven't you killed her? He could be, like, looking down, like, sorry, I'm not going to, or sorry, I'll do it. I'll do
Yeah.
better. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, because, so this is the thing. So then they also discuss, like, the alternate path that they took up the mountain. And Bjorn just confirms to Harold that Freya defeated the Draug. And that, again, surprises Harold. Because he didn't think she could do it just because Lynn is a protector. So, like, not an aggressor. So he was like, oh, that's weird. But Bjorn is like, obviously she's favored by more than just Lynn. And I guess he's referencing, and Freya assumes he's referencing Tyr, because she used Tyr's weapon to kill him.
Yeah, but realistically, he's probably referencing the fact that the gods got rid of all the extra ones. Like,
Could
whoever
be.
did that.
Yeah, could be.
Who controls vines and pulled them down? Like,
yes.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know what he's thinking. We only know what Freya's thinking, and that is the issue with books.
Yes. So Snorri and Ylva show up then, and they've got a bunch of their soldiers, and Harold sort of, like, I want to say taunts them, but he is just polite. Like,
yeah.
He's like, oh, I'm glad to see you, old friend, and stuff, and I guess the taunting bit is like, oh, we really miss Bjorn, would love to have him back in Nordeland, and it's just sort of like, so you want to kidnap him again? Great. Like, you know, that's sort of the taunt.
But is it taunting, or is he being honest?
Yeah, he could be being sincere, who knows?
Yeah.
And if Bjorn is in fact working for Harold, then it is just honesty.
Yeah. It's interesting. Interesting choices.
Well, because then Harold even says, he's like, oh, I'm happy you found that shield maiden from the prophecy you've been looking for. And then he says, even though she's likely to cost you more than what you've gained, what with all these recent attacks, aka you're losing men left and right and, like, village people and followers because so many people are attacking you for her. And it's like, valid, yes.
100% correct.
And Snorri just tells Harold, like, I'm not here to talk to my enemies.
Ugh.
And Harold is just like, whoa, dude, like, what, we're not, since when are we enemies? And, like, is being pretty, I want to say obtuse. I don't know if it's intentional or not. Like, I don't know if he's genuinely like, since when are we enemies? Or if he's like, we're enemies? You know what I mean? Like, is he playing it up? Or if he honestly did not know that Snorri hated his guts.
You know, I think that it's just a way for the author to get some more information in here about why they are enemies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it is very like, we used to be best friends. You ruined this. And you're kind of like, oh, this is an interesting development, because all we really knew was that he attacks.
Yeah. Anyway, so Snorri just reminds him, like, you killed my seer, as if that is, like, why they're enemies.
Yeah.
And the seer is Bjorn's mom.
Yeah. Which we have questions about what happened to her.
We do have questions about what happened to her. And we sort of get a little bit here. And it's like, presumably Bjorn's mom is Snorri's mistress. If they had to have conceived Bjorn together.
Yes.
So, like, I don't know if he was married to Ylva at that time.
I think he was, because, well, Freya thinks he was, because she's like, Ylva said before he was supposed to consummate his marriage, she was like, I can't survive if you are with another woman again. So It made it sound like there was another woman at some point.
Right. Anyway, but so, like, presumably this is a woman that he cared about, but he doesn't really care about. It's not, you killed my son's mother, it's, you killed my seer. So he's very much like, and we sort of have seen this from him before, very much like power forward. Like, it's not about who you are, it's what power you have.
Yeah.
Oh, and then he also says, like, you killed my seer, and then you stole my son and raised him as a thrall. And I guess we've learned from that a thrall is like a servant.
Yeah.
And Harold just reminds him that Bjorn was a hostage. And I'm like, is that better than a thrall?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, but it does make me wonder if he, like, if he was like, I have no, and obviously never do this. This is not.
We're not endorsing kidnapping.
He was like, I have no choice but to do this, or he's going to attack me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's what he's kind of making it seem like. And I'm like, is that the truth? Is he playing us? Is he playing Freya? Like, what is the truth?
Yeah. And yeah, so he was like, that's not, he was a hostage, not a thrall. And he also said he raised him like a son out of respect for their friendship. So it does seem like they were friends and allies at one point.
Which is just interesting.
Yeah. And he also continues that Snorri, like, didn't really give him a choice because Snorri blamed Harold for Saga's death. Saga is Bjorn's mom. Mm-hmm. Even though he was innocent. So it seems like Harold did not kill her.
Yeah.
So we have more to figure out there. Like,
definitely.
I'm wondering if, like, because Snorri and Ylva are both very much, Ylva especially, is very much, look what you have done based on, like, last week, Ylva blamed Freya for all of her thralls being dead. Mm-hmm. Because Snorri and Ylva made the decision to have her thralls, like, impersonate Freya, and therefore, as they went up the mountain, they were attacked, and the Jarls killed the thralls. So, like, that was an act that Ylva and Snorri did, but they were like, look, this is your fault to Freya. Yeah. Because they were killed thinking they were you. So I'm wondering if it's something like that. Like, maybe Snorri and Ylva killed Saga, the seer, because Harold did something. Or, like, caused her to, like, change allegiances, or maybe she became a spy or a traitor. So they were like, we have to kill her. Oh, it's your fault, Harold. Like, they're not taking responsibility for their own actions. Yeah.
It is a wild choice to kill her by fire, if that was, or maybe like they tried to burn Harold down and then she was there. Like, it could be something like that. I can't imagine someone purposely lighting her on fire. I know it's not just her that was likely on fire, but in my brain it is just her that was likely on fire.
Yeah. Anyway, so apparently Harold says that, like, he was innocent of her death, of, like, killing her, but Snorri used that rumor to gain support from all of Snorri's people to attack Harold's shores. So, like, if he didn't have Bjorn, Snorri would have attacked and murdered a whole bunch of people and caused a war. Which is what he wants anyway. Yeah. And, well, so that's what Snorri says. He says once he is king, there will be war, and he will make Nordeland bleed as Skaland has. And I feel like, what has happened in the past 10 years where they used to be friends? Like, it can't just be the death of Bjorn's mom that has made him hate him so much and want a war so badly. Like, if they used to be friends and allies, like, what happened?
Yeah, you're right. Because I feel like the death, like, Saga, I thought, died the same night that Bjorn was kidnapped.
Could be.
Is what I had assumed. Obviously, right. I don't know that for sure. But if that's the case, then you'd think something would have happened for him to think that he needs a hostage before that. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. We're missing a lot, really.
We're missing a piece for Snorri to be this vengeful.
Yeah.
So he also tells Harold that Bjorn will stand across him in battle, across Harold in battle, with the Shield Maiden by his side. And, like, Freya is super uncomfortable with this discussion because she wants Harold to suffer for taking Bjorn. She's still like, you are at fault. You kidnapped a child. So you're automatically, she's like, you're bad.
Yeah.
But she also,
like, she's so funny.
She's very, like, black and white, I find.
Yeah, 100%. And especially when it comes to Bjorn, she's like,
yeah,
he just needs to be good and safe.
Yeah. But at the same time, she does think, she's like, I want Harold to suffer because he kidnapped Bjorn. But she does remember that last week Bjorn spoke kindly of the Nordelanders around him. Like, they said he told her he was treated very kindly. So, like, how do you reconcile those two emotions, I guess?
Yeah.
And Bjorn is acting very different right now. So, around Harold and Snorri, two of them together, he's keeping his eyes down. He's not being confident. He's being very submissive. And, like, Freya thinks that this is Harold's influence. That he's, like, being shy and submissive. And he feels threatened by Harold, which is why he's keeping his eyes downcast. And I'm like, he wasn't really like that, though, when Harold and him were just talking alone. It's really only when Snorri came on scene.
Yeah,
so,
and it's like, is he hiding something from his father?
Yeah, that's my thought.
Yeah.
So, she just tells him that she speaks up because she's angry for Bjorn.
Yeah.
And she says, any man who uses a child to hide from battle is not worthy of Valhalla. So I'm like,
I don't think she's wrong.
I don't think she's wrong either, but I don't really think it was her place to say anything.
No, and I don't think she understands the situation, but
no,
like I feel like maybe Saga was like, "Can you take my son? Because I don't want him to be raised by Snorri, because Snorri's a piece of shit."
Yeah, and
like if it's something like that, yeah, we're just coming up with a whole bunch of shit on our.
Yeah, I'm hoping we find out I know that there's obviously a second book, so obviously we're not going to get answers to everything, but I hope we get answers to some. I hope there's a really big-ass villain monologue at the end of this.
And we figure out who the villain is.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I guarantee you it's probably going to be Snorri and Ylva. Like,
yeah.
I really don't. I think Bjorn is going to be a spy and a traitor.
Yes.
And then she's going to be pissed off. He's going to kidnap her and take her across to be with Harold. That's my thought. He's going to kidnap her, bring her across on a boat back to Nordeland, kidnap her. She's going to be pissed. It's going to be like Serpent in the Wings of Night.
Yeah.
That's my thought.
I do worry that it's going to end and it's going to be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, and the next book is only out in hardcover right now, and I'm very upset about it because I don't want to buy it in hardcover because this one I have it in softcover.
Oh, see, I have the hardcover because I bought it like a year ago.
Yeah.
Because it got the pretty teal sprayed edges.
Yeah, and the other one, the new book has the red edges, I think, which will look great for you, but
not for you.
This is a paperback.
It is.
So I'm sad.
Anyway, so I guess, like, Harold is just sort of like, ha, you're fierce, Freya. And Harold then just asks Bjorn what happened to Ragnhild. She is like the old woman. She was a spy. Leif brought her back. Leif,
yes,
who is Snorri and Ylva's other son, brought her back to court. I say court. Brought her back to their town. Mm-hmm. And they immediately beheaded her because when she sees something, she can immediately send it back to her master. So she saw Freya and sent it back to Harold. and we know that Bjorn is the one who beheaded her. So Harold is like, what happened to Ragnhild? And Bjorn's just like, she's dead. And Harold's like, well, who killed her? And Snorri's like, it doesn't matter. She's dead because she was a spy. And then Harold's like, it's interesting, Freya. That your face is the last thing Ragnhild saw, and now she's dead because of it. And I'm like, what is the point of that?
Yeah.
Like,
we don't need her to feel any more guilt than she does.
But, like, is it so that Freya knows that Ragnhild sent an image of her face back to Harold? Like, I don't understand. Like, we sort of knew that.
Yeah, we did assume it. And then when he looked at her and was like, oh, you must be the shield maiden, she was like, oh, he must have seen it.
Yeah.
So, like, we already knew that. So I don't really know, like, is it trying to warn her that Snorri's a piece of shit? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really know either. So, Harold and the woman he's with leaves, and Snorri lets them know that the woman he's with is actually a child of Thor, so she can wield lightning and she's dangerous. And her name is Tora, I think. So then Ylva...
Oh. I think I missed that she could wield lightning.
Oh. No, she can.
Interesting.
Yeah, and he keeps her very close, so, like, he doesn't go anywhere without her.
Fair.
So Ylva reminds him that, like, nobody can use their magic inside the gates, so, like, Harold isn't a concern for them right now. They need to be more concerned that Freya makes her offering so that she doesn't die, because it's a test. She has to make an offering or she dies.
Yeah.
So it's funny, because then Snorri gives her a bunch of coins and says, go make your offerings. And I'm like, oh, so this is the offering. She's not going to die now. But no, this isn't it. This is, like, part one of the offering. So she goes around and, like, lays coins at the feet of every god, because they're in a hall of gods. So there's a statue for every single one. So she goes around laying a coin at each of their feet and asking favors from each god. So, like, she asks one of the, I think, one of the ones that sort of has a similar name to her, she asked them for, like, that her brother and Ingrid are happy and has a lot of babies, and she asks so she just goes around asking for something. Yeah. From each of them.
For people, and I think she even says for people that she has deemed worthy.
Yeah. And so as
they're not worthy.
I know, they're not worthy, but whatever. Yeah. So as she's doing that, she hears Snorri, like, admonishing Bjorn and being like, why didn't you speak up with Harold? Why were you being so silent? And Bjorn's like, it was either stay quiet or commit murder. Like, I was so angry. It took all of my energy not to, like, unleash my anger. And again, Freya assumes that he means anger at Harold. Yeah. But I don't think that's true. I think it's anger at Snorri, because Snorri is being very, like, blamey and not taking responsibility for any actions. Anyway, but Snorri's like, I don't appreciate that. Like, you have Tyr's gift. You need to act worthy of it, essentially. So she makes an offering to Odin for Bjorn, for him to be released from his past so he can fight those that deserve vengeance. So I just found that funny, like, found that an interesting way to phrase it. Like, she doesn't say against anybody, she just thinks that his past is holding him back from seeking vengeance. And then as she lays the coin down, she asked that of Odin. So she lays the coin down at Odin's feet for that request, and she feels a shiver run through her. So, like, the gods are listening. Yeah. So then they hear drums start to beat, and they realize that the ritual for the evening is starting, and they need to go get ready. So they go to I'm calling it a hut, but it's like a hall, like a cabin, I assume, but, like, they call it a hall. Yeah. So they go to the one that they're going to be using and staying in, and Ylva puts a spell on it so that no one who wants to cause them harm can enter. So I'm like, so Bjorn... So this is sort of where I get confused, because Bjorn, obviously, the four of them go in the hall, so does that mean that Bjorn does not intend on harming Ylva, or Snorri. Like, but yet, my theory is that he wants vengeance against them and is working for Harold, but obviously he couldn't go in the hut if that was true. So I'm like, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's true. Or maybe he's like, I don't want harm against them right now. Like, I don't know, how does the magic work? Or maybe he doesn't even know who actually killed his mother. Maybe he thinks it's Harold, and we're gonna find out, but that does take away the whole spy thing, so. Yeah. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm quite confused.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Snorri then asks, once they get inside, where Steinem is, the bard. And they're like, we sent her back. We thought she'd be with you. And he's like, no, we haven't seen her yet. And Snorri is just pissed because he wanted her here at the festival to sing of Freya's birth by fire and to, like, spread that story around. But I guess to sort of make him not as angry, Freya's like, don't worry, I'll tell her everything about what happened under the mountain. Even though she already promised Steinem she would do that. And Ylva tells Freya then, like, you better go give yourself a bath because all of my thralls are dead to ensure that you lived. So again, like, bringing that up, that old chestnut. It's her, yeah.
They sacrificed the thralls.
Yeah.
Like,
so again, just an instant of them not taking responsibility for their actions. And, like, this pisses Freya off because she was like, it was them who let the thralls take her place. But she holds her tongue and just gets in the bath because she knows that she has to be agreeable in order for her family to live.
Yeah.
So she gets bath, she gets out, gets dressed, and Ylva informs her that they sent word to Halsar when she went in the interior up the mountain. So all of the soldiers are emptying out of Halsar to come meet them so that once they're done up here, they can head down the mountain and get back to Halsar safely. So, like, they're really leaving Halsar completely alone.
Which is wild.
And then she says, so you better be grateful. And it's like, this was your choice.
Yeah.
So again, like, it's one of my pet peeves is people not taking responsibility for their actions.
Yeah. And it's obviously like, Snorri is making these decisions, and Ylva is pissed at her when she should be pissed at Snorri. Like, she's just being unreasonable.
Yes. Definitely. Yeah, it's just, she's being annoying.
Yeah.
And essentially Ylva also tells her that she is a child of the gods. So everything she does can alter her destiny, and therefore the destinies of those people around her, for better or for worse. So essentially, you better make the correct decisions. So they go to the ritual. Most people have masks on. And Freya has, like, this crow bird mask on, and Ylva has something with antlers. And there are, like, hundreds of people there. So, like, it is a popular, like, it is a pilgrimage that everyone goes on. So they head all together, like, a mass towards wherever they're going. But this woman goes against the flow and approaches Freya and asks what path she follows. And, like, I don't know if this is important because it hasn't come up again.
No.
But I don't know.
Yeah, it's
questionable.
Something
suspicious.
Yes, suspicious is the right word.
Yeah. So it's like a woman in a hooded cape and stuff. So Freya doesn't know who she is. And, like, Freya doesn't really understand the question. But before she can even ask, like, what do you mean? Bjorn just grabs her and walks her away from the woman and shrugs off the behavior, suggesting that someone's already indulged in the mushroom tea. And I'm just like, that's suspicious to me.
Yeah.
That he's just shrugging off her behavior. It means in my brain that
he knows something.
He knows that person, knows what she's referencing, and is choosing to keep Freya in the dark.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. And apparently the mushroom tea is like a hallucinogenic tea.
Yeah.
So the Gothar, which are like the monks of this temple, wind their way through the crowds, and they are offering everyone mushroom tea from a bowl. And Ylva tells Freya that she has to drink because it will put her closer to the gods, but no one else from their party takes any.
Fucking stupid.
Yeah. But I guess, like, they all want to keep their wits about them so that they can protect her if needed. But, like, yeah, she doesn't need to protect herself, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool. And she actually does try to fake it at first because she doesn't want to lose her inhibitions that way.
Yeah.
But Ylva gets mad and is like, do you think we're stupid? Like, drink the fucking tea. She doesn't say that, but it's as good as. So she takes a very small mouthful. So they head in, they watch the first sacrifice. Guy sacrifices a goat, and the Gothi that's like up in charge of the sacrifices dips his fingers in the animal blood and like paints the guy's face who sacrificed it. And then Freya starts to feel the tea. At least I feel like. Because she feels like these shivers and prickles. And I guess it almost feels like she's like in a fog.
Yeah. Do you think the shivers and tickles, though, are the gods watching her?
Yes.
Yeah. But she can feel them because of the tea.
No, I think she can feel them anyway.
Okay.
The way the book, like, starts to describe things, it makes it feel very, like, foggy.
Yes.
So,
okay.
and, like, overwhelming. So that's why I feel like the tea is starting to take effect.
Yeah.
And she even thinks, like, did that such a little mouthful, is it already starting to affect me? So, I just think she's a little bit under the tea.
Makes sense.
But, like, she feels like the sacrifices and the words that are spoken here mean more here than they do anywhere else. Like, she genuinely does feel, like, closer to the gods. And she looks over at Bjorn, and he's rubbing his arms as if he's cold. Mm-hmm. Which is weird, because he never gets cold.
Yeah.
So either he's also feeling maybe the shivers and prickles.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's nervous or something and trying to, like, do something with his hands. So I guess they watch, like, a couple sacrifices, and then all of a sudden it's Freya's turn. And she doesn't get a goat or a chicken. She gets a fucking bull.
Yeah. Of course. Ugh.
And Bjorn goes up with her and, like, holds the bull steady. And, like, as I wrote that, like, right now that I'm reading, it feels like she is having an out-of-body experience. And, like, she doesn't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't want to make this sacrifice. And up until she actually does it, she doesn't think she'll be able to go through with it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the wind picks up and, like, a mass of birds descend on the forest where they are, because this is all, like, in an outdoor sort of temple. And they're all flying in, like, chaotic circles. So it's an omen that the gods are watching. So she's like, well, fuck. And then lightning strikes a few times. And I'm like, lightning? Like, didn't we just meet somebody that can do that? But, you know, they don't think about that.
Yeah.
And so, like, Freya's frozen, and she's like, oh my god, I can't do this. But then she remembers that her family's lives would be forfeit if she doesn't. So she does. She sacrifices the bull. And everything goes silent after she makes her sacrifice. So, like, the birds have all disappeared, and the Gothi is spreading blood on her face. And as soon as he does, she sees these hooded figures standing in a circle. And she knows on instinct that they are the gods. And she thinks that this is the mushroom tea making her hallucinate. But Bjorn is like, no, they're here.
Yeah.
And, like, it's every single god.
Yeah.
And they all say to her together, Freya, born in fire, child of two bloods, we see you. And then they all disappear.
Yeah.
So it's, like, creepy.
It's very creepy.
But also, what does the two bloods mean? Like, to me, this is like she has some sort of secret power that she doesn't know about yet from another god. Like, maybe both of them, Lynn and somebody else, maybe they both put a drop of blood in her.
Yeah, we kind of talked about it when she got the 2 tattoos, because we were like,
yes,
she was being pulled apart by 2 beings,
right, right,
and then she ended up with 2 tattoos, so it seems like she has 2 different kinds of, and this is even just more, but I didn't pick up on this part, I don't know why, but of 2,
I didn't connect her being torn apart during her tattoo ceremony, like, at all.
Between us, we get
it, yeah. But anyway, so it's interesting though, because she theoretically listed off all the gods' names when she was a kid to see if she was favored by any of them, and she wasn't. The only one she found was Lynn. So I'm wondering, like, is there one even more, not minor in power, but like that everyone forgets about?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or did she do Lynn and then stop, but there were a few gods left? You know what I mean?
Maybe. Anyway, so Freya's just confused because she doesn't understand why they care about her when she carries the blood of like the most minor god amongst them. So like Lynn is chump change.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we're just skipping over the child of 2 bloods thing. Like, nobody else. Nobody talks about it or picks up on it.
No, and I guess she's a bit high, so she's like, whoop, whatever.
Yeah.
But you think, someone would.
Somebody, at least. But nope, nobody does. Nobody asked the question.
Interesting.
She asks Bjorn why he thinks they're watching her, but he doesn't really have an answer for her. Instead, Snorri and Ylva just take this as confirmation they've been doing the right thing the whole time. So that's great for them. Terrible for everyone else.
Ugh, they're so annoying.
They are annoying. So they're like, we're going to go back to your room and we're going to guard you until the rest of our men arrive, because with this visit of the gods, you've just been proven you're more valuable. And so some Jarls may like break the peace of Fjaltinder, which is the mountain, and like take her or kill her anyway. So they're really stressed. So they go back to the hall and they're like, we're safe here because Ylva put the runes on it. And so Freya's like, I'm going to bed now. But she can't sleep. Her mind is working a mile a minute. She hears Bjorn, Snorri, and Ylva arguing. So Snorri thinks that with this vision, the Jarls will agree to make alliances. I feel like he's way more devout than most of the other Jarls, because he's like, well, the gods, look, they're favoring her, she's my wife.
Yeah.
I'm my wife.
Yeah. Or does he just like, he really seems to believe things.
Yeah.
He believes all the shit about himself, too.
Yeah, it's stupid. So he thinks that, like, the Jarls will now agree to an alliance. But Bjorn actually is like, no, this is going to make them fight harder against you. And Snorri's like, well, we need to convince everybody that Harold is a really big threat. And we have to work together to move against him. Mm-hmm. And Ylva's like, let's get the other Jarls on our side first. Like, she sort of agrees with Bjorn that they gotta work on their alliances before they think ahead to Harold. So, Snorri's like, I'm going to meet the other Jarls and try and get an alliance. You guys stay here. So, Bjorn goes to sleep. Freya can't obviously sleep. Her mind is like, keeps rethinking the encounter with the gods. She really doesn't understand why they chose her or why they care about having a united Skaland in the first place, or why they even want Snorri as the king. Like, she just doesn't understand any of it.
Yeah.
And she feels a draft and then looks and sees that Ylva left, which she's like, well, that's weird. She was supposed to stay here. So then she tries to go to sleep again, but she turns over and looks at Bjorn, and he's shirtless and has, like, pushed his blankets down so she can see his torso. And she's, like, ogling him.
Yeah.
And, like, she's getting turned on. So she's like, I'll just bang one out.
Yeah. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate that there's masturbation in the book.
Yeah.
But it is kind of funny. I'm like, oh my god.
Like, just
he's
going to hear
you.
There. I know.
He's going to hear you.
So she's just like, I'll bang one out and hopefully be able to sleep. So she obviously is imagining, like, she's full on going for it. She's, like, touching her boobs and, like, you know, she's thinking that it's his hands, his cock, not her fingers and her hands. Mm-hmm. And she knows that fantasizing about him would just make her want him more, but, like, she doesn't stop. And when she's about to come, she hears him wake up. So she's like, shit!
Yeah. And we're like, oh, he knows what she's doing.
Yeah. So he gets up and leaves. And she's like, what the fuck? You're supposed to... Snorri ordered him to stay here. Where is he going? And I think she really thinks he honors his dad a lot more than he does.
Yeah, I do too. But I'm also like, wait, I thought he heard her and was gonna go over. Nope.
Like, I wonder, was he faking it the entire time, sleeping?
Yeah, I did wonder if he just left to give her some privacy.
That's not what I wondered, if he left because he had to go to a meeting, but, like, if he heard the entire thing anyway. And it's just like, ooh.
Oh. Well, that'd be pretty shitty to, like, leave as she's about to go, or move so that she stops.
I guess. Anyway, so she gets up and goes to the door thinking maybe he just went to pee or something, but can't see him. And then she gets concerned that maybe Harold, like, took him. So she is like, well, she is panicking. So she leaves the hall and is whispering in the forest as she's walking through looking for Bjorn and Ylva. She's like, Bjorn! And she's like, where is everybody? Like, they both left. And she's like, oh my god, Bjorn was definitely kidnapped by Harold. I gotta find Snorri so that he can, like, get everybody to start looking.
Yeah.
So she walks through the festival. She sees people having sex everywhere and, like, groups of 3 or 4 getting it on. And she's like, the gods like that. I'm like, how do you know the gods like that? But, okay.
They've decided that that's what the gods like.
So then she's like, oh, well, maybe Bjorn left to find someone to have sex with. But then she's like, no, there's too much at stake for him to do that. But then she's like, well, why did he leave, though? So as she's looking around, she sees Tora, the daughter of Thor, standing guard in front of the Hall of Gods. And she knows, oh, Harold is here. So she, like, climbs around back where there's, like, water going in and, like, spies. And she doesn't have a great view. She can see Harold, but she can't see anything or anyone else. So he's talking to someone, but she can't make out who it is. And he asks the person if they thought there wouldn't be a cost to this, and that he, aka Snorri, will destroy everything this person cares about. She also hears Harold say that a good mother protects her son. Mm-hmm. And that is the plan. And he says, I trust you, and you should go now. And she tries to get a better look at who it is talking to Harold, but she can't. So I really think that this, like, supports our theory of, like, this is Bjorn. He's saying, like, Snorri is going to kill everything you care about in Nordeland.
Yeah.
And that, like, you didn't expect to, like, maybe have feelings for Freya, but, you know, I know it's unexpected, but, like, we got to go through with the plan, whatever the plan is. So she then I don't know how, she sees somebody in a hood heading towards their hall with the wards on it. Mm-hmm. And she's like, Bjorn was supposed to be sleeping there. And then immediately she connects that it must be Ylva plotting with Harold.
Yeah.
Because she just thinks that the whole thing of, like, hearing that a mother's job is to protect her son. So she automatically thinks that Ylva is plotting against Snorri with Harold to kill Bjorn so that her son Leif will inherit everything. And I think this is stupid, if I'm being honest.
I think it's a stretch. I don't think that that's the case.
And then worse things happen. Like, then, so she sees this hooded person approaching their hall, where apparently Bjorn is asleep, even though she knows Bjorn's not there. Mm-hmm. And she sees this person try and open the door to their house door hall thing and gets thrown back by the wards. So somebody went there with the intention of hurting one of them. Mm-hmm. And she never tells anybody.
Yeah.
Because she thinks it's Ylva. And I'm like, Ylva would not be so stupid as to try and go back in with the intent of harming someone without circumventing her own wards. If she put the wards up, she would know how to circumvent them and get in the house anyway. Yeah. She's not going to get thrown back by her own wards. Like, I think Freya is so stupid here. This is stupid. Yeah. If you thought for more than half a second about this, you would know that it's stupid.
Yeah, she's stuck on Ylva being a bitch, which is fair because Ylva is a bitch to her. And to Bjorn. But I'm like, you need to open up your mind.
It's completely ridiculous. Anyway, so she gets down from her little perch, and then someone grabs her arms and pulls her into the trees. And it's Bjorn. So, like, I'm sorry, logically, he's nearby the meeting place. He left, the same as Ylva left. Like, why is she not... Like, I know why she's not suspecting him, but, like, realistically, I feel like it's way more obvious that it's him rather than Ylva. Yeah. Anyway. So it's Bjorn. She's like, where did you go? And he's like, I had to meet someone. So, like, again, obviously, had to meet up with Harold. And he's like, I went back to the hall, though, and you weren't there. So where have you been? And I don't believe that. I think he just left the hall and saw her there and was like, shit. Then she just tells him that Ylva is working with Harold. That she was like, oh, I spied on them, and I know that Ylva is conspiring to have you killed so Leif can be the heir. And Bjorn's like, you're saying you saw Ylva talking to Harold. Very specific word choice there. And she says, no, I didn't. I just heard Harold's side of the conversation. So, like, again, it's obviously Bjorn having this conversation, and he's verifying that she saw what she thinks she saw. Mm-hmm. Then, all of a sudden, they see, like, I'm assuming Harold's warriors, looking through all the trees at all the revelers, and they're looking at all the girls' faces, and they automatically worry that Harold is coming for Freya. Mm-hmm. So they're like, shit, we gotta find Snorri and, like, protect you. And there are too many people around, like, too many warriors around, so they need to, quote-unquote, hide in plain sight. So he's like, follow my lead. And he puts up his hood. And he just starts kissing her. Ooh. Yeah, it's great. And initially she's, like, frozen, but then she's like, oh no, I like this. So then she wraps her arms around him, and then she starts kissing him back. And then he freezes for a second. He's like, oh shit, this is happening. And then he goes back into it. And then he, like, grabs her legs and, like, puts them around his waist and, like, braces her up against a tree. And they hear somebody approaching, and she's like, they're not gonna stop interrupting us just kissing. Like, this is not enough for them to be like, well, let's give them some privacy. So she's like, do more.
Because it could be her making out with somebody.
Yeah. So they're like, she's like, you need to do more. So he's like, all right. So then he loosens her dress, and, like, her boobs come out, and they, like, are, like, rubbing each other and, like, making out even more. They're just going harder at second base. But they never, like, cross into, like, third base, we'll say.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't understand, because she has, I feel like, Ylva's deer mask on. I think she put it on when she left to try and, like, be a little bit inconspicuous.
Yeah.
But I don't know if she has it on her face or on her head, because how are they kissing and making out when she has this, like, deer mask on with antlers? So, like, I wonder if it's, like, pulled up over her head, or or if it's...
Does it just cover her eyes and have antlers?
It's just so weird.
It is.
Anyway, so she's got the mask on part of her face, I think. So the men approach anyways, and they're like, we need to see her face. And Bjorn's like, she's occupied, leave. And they're like, no. Or they don't say that, but they just don't leave. And so she, like, sort of leans her head back a little bit so that they can see a bit of her face. But also they can very prominently see her boobs. And she's just counting on them being distracted by...
Men.
Yes. Yes. Men. And she tells Bjorn to shut up and fuck her already. And I'm like, that's how she feels.
But also, like, she's wearing the same dress from earlier that everyone saw her cut a bull in, isn't she?
Yes.
And, like, her voice is her voice.
Yeah, but I also feel like not many people have heard her speak.
Maybe. I'm just like, I don't know.
And the dress...
I don't think I'd be talking so much.
No, but it was also a simple dress. So, like, it could be... You really think people... I don't think people are going to notice, like, a simple... If it was an ornate gown, yes. But it was a very simple, like, dress that they
I
put on
guess.
her.
I would have thought, too, that the bull blood would have just gotten fucking everywhere. But I guess it didn't, because she took a nap in the dress, and that would have been gross.
Yeah, but also, like, the dress is sort of, like, shoved up around her thighs, because her thighs are around Bjorn's waist, so I don't think they can get a really great look at it anyway.
Yeah, that's fair. They do a terrible job, all in all, but we need them to.
Yeah. But I guess, so, like, they're distracted by her boobs, but, like, they still don't leave. And Bjorn just, like, pulls the hood off of his head and turns around and tells the men that they must have a death wish. And the men tell him they hope she's worth it. And when I first read that, it seemed like they knew who she was then and backed down.
Yeah.
But apparently not. We learn a little bit later that, like, that's not the case. But the way it was written, it made it seem like, oh, it's Freya, and you have a death wish because you're hooking up with your husband, with your dad's wife. But, like, apparently that's not it.
Yeah, it's weird. Because I can see that. Yeah, I don't know.
So Freya doesn't really understand why they left, because she assumed that Ylva contracted Harold to kill Bjorn. So she's like, why did they leave? Like, why didn't they attack and kill you? But Bjorn's like...
It's like, maybe that's not what they were
I
doing.
know! Well, that's what Bjorn's like, trust me, Harold does not care about me. He cares about you. So...
Yeah.
And then I guess they get down and she puts her dress back on and he tells her she gave a convincing performance. So, like, he's sort of under the assumption that she only did what she did because she didn't want to be discovered, and she is under the assumption that he also only did what he did because he didn't want her to be discovered. So, like, they both think that the other person doesn't actually want them.
Yeah.
She asked him then, like, why did that work? Like, why didn't they ask to see her face after Bjorn revealed his face?
Just like, why do you think? Like,
Well, but he just...
Because you're his stepmother.
Yeah, well, that's what he said. The men know that he isn't stupid enough to cuckold his own father, a.k.a. the men know that he's not going to hook up with his stepmother, so they didn't need to... They just assumed it wasn't her.
Which is so funny.
Yeah. So they head back towards the hall, and they see Snorri and Ylva there, and Snorri is, like, shouting orders, because obviously they've seen the hall. They know that Freya's gone, and they're worried that something happened. And she wants to, like, call out Ylva immediately, but Bjorn's like, all that's gonna do is make you look like a jealous wife.
She said situation.
Yes, because Snorri is gonna take Ylva's side.
Of course.
So she's like, oh, fine, I won't say anything. And Bjorn just says to her, she isn't the one who has cause to be jealous, which is adorable, and I love it.
Yeah, it is adorable, but I'm also like...
She's also not jealous of Ylva in that way.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. But I just couldn't.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, she's not jealous of Ylva. She hates her and wants to throw her off a cliff, but, like, it's not from jealousy. It's because she's a bitch.
Yeah. Thank you.
So...
For articulating. Wow. Ow. Wow.
I love it.
Did you know that I was going to struggle that hard on articulating? Because that was...
Great.
I don't even know what to call that. Karma?
I love it. So she goes back to the hall, and Snorri's like, where were you? And she twists it slightly. She tells him that she woke up alone and feared for Snorri and went to go find him because she woke by herself. And Ylva's like, you're an idiot to leave the wards. And Freya's like, you left too. And where were you? And Ylva's like, well, where was Bjorn? Because he was supposed to be with you. But Snorri's like, no, where were you? Like,
and we're getting the suspicion on her, which is what Freya wants. Yeah. So I think it's a red herring, but we're getting it.
Yeah. I think she's a bitch, but I don't think she's doing what Freya thinks she is.
No, I think she's trying to get Bjorn killed, but I don't think she's going to go to Harold to get it done.
No, not even slightly.
Yeah.
So Snorri's like, answer the question, where were you? And she's like, if you must know, I was with ... And then somebody approaches and said, she was with me. And at first I was like, oh my god, like, do we have a cheating situation?
Yeah.
But we might still, to be fair.
True. Yeah.
But it's Jarl Bodil. And Jarl Bodil is like a middle-aged, like, graying sort of woman. She's a famous warrior, the only female Jarl ever. And she's a child of Forseti, so she can tell truth from lie. Fun. Yeah, it is fun. So she tells Snorri that Ylva came to discuss alliances with her, and they're good friends, and she agreed to follow the Shield Maiden into battle. So they have their first Jarl alliance.
Yeah, and he's pissed.
Well, he is pissed because he's like, great, I'm really glad you're gonna be loyal to me. And she's like, no, I'm not loyal to you. I'm loyal to Freya.
Which I love. I love that.
Yeah. So, like, she's like, I'm pledging to Freya, not you. And Ylva's like, it amounts to the same thing, because they're married.
Because he controls her.
Ugh, I hate it. And I will say that Bodil, we come to know in this chapter, like, she sticks around for quite a bit. So she does have a really great point in a little bit. Yeah. So Freya is, like, having this beautiful minds moment, because she's like... in my brain, like, she's got all these calculations and, like, scenarios, like, in her brain, like, you know what I mean, projected in front of her, because she's like, well, how could Ylva be meeting with Harold if she was meeting with Bodil?
Yeah.
And she was like, oh,
she must have done both.
Yeah, she's like, I'm sure it was Ylva. I'm just like, stop villainizing the bitch. She's just a bitch.
Yeah. Yep.
So then Bjorn comes in. I guess he had to wait a little bit.
If they came in together, it'd be too obvious.
Yeah. And Snorri's like, where were you? And why did you leave Freya alone? And he's like, oh, I sought the guidance of a seer who told them. And, like, he's like, the seer told me something. He said, the seer says that the unwatched hearth spits the hottest embers, and the untended hall is formed of the driest kindling. And Ylva especially takes that to mean Halsar.
Yeah.
Because they left it unguarded. Like, they left all the women and children alone, and all the able-bodied men are left to protect Freya on their way back down the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
So they're very stressed that they need to get back there ASAP, because they're worried that somebody will have attacked it while they were all gone.
Yeah.
But Snorri is like, this is a test of my commitment, like, what I have now versus what I could achieve. So, like, do I favor Halsar, which I already own, or do I favor Freya, which can help me get more? And it's like, this is not about you, asshole.
You're gonna let your other son die because it's a test? Like,
it's
wild.
so bad. So he doesn't want to leave based on the ramblings of a seer, and he just tells all of his warriors that this is a test of their faith and of the Shield Maiden. Like, or a test of their faith of the Shield Maiden. Like, do they have faith in Freya and the gods? Because she is the chosen one. So, like, if you don't, like, if you want to leave and go protect Halsar, then that means that, like, you don't have faith in the gods. Which is a bit, I don't know, it's like weaponizing their faith, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
And he just says, like, the fates of everybody in Halsar is already written, whether they live or die. So, like, it doesn't matter if we tried now to, like, go rescue them, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, this whole, like, the fates of people being written and stuff is very confusing.
It is, because, like, if the fate of everybody is written, but the fates of the godchildren is unwritten, so Freya can decide things that will change her fate, and therefore the fates of people around her.
Yeah.
But yet, they're already fated, so, like, I don't so their fates can be changed?
Right?
As long as it's by somebody who's unfated?
Listen.
I got nothing.
That's all I have as well. Nothing.
So, anyway, so he says, like, Freya's unfated, so all of their fates are tied to her, and, like, he wants to just go down the mountain and, like, and attack Harold right then and there. And Freya's like, I have the power to help Halsar right now. So she yells to the crowd that vengeance, because that's one thing, so, like, Snorri is like, let's take our vengeance now, against Harold, and Freya's like, vengeance is no good when everyone we love is dead.
Yeah.
So, like, directly going against him.
Yeah.
So she's like, she sort of insinuates that they should go help Halsar and fight Harold later. And Snorri is pissed, but everybody cheered at her suggestion. So he's like, okay, he has to, like, very quickly regroup. And he's like, let's go protect Halsar, and we'll let Harold scurry home to Nordeland, and we'll strike him later. So, you know, it's very much like he's trying to recover. And it's like, dude, you know what? This just proves that you are not involved in this at all.
Yeah. Like, he doesn't have the control he thinks he has.
No, he doesn't have any control.
Yeah. It's just like, does he think he does? It's just like, I don't know.
So
you're not even doing the thing that the prophecy apparently said. You don't have control over her.
No, he does not. So they all go get ready to leave. They're gonna march down the mountain, and they're gonna go, like, immediately to try and get to Halsar in time. So she walks with Bjorn, and she wants to ask him what happened between them, but doesn't. And instead she thinks, like, if they walk into battle, she wants to ask what happened between them, but she doesn't. Instead, she asks him if he thinks that they'll walk right into a battle. Like, are they going to be attacked on their way down? And he says, you never really understand foretellings until they come to pass. In other words, like, they don't know if what the seer told him was about Halsar and if it's true.
Yeah, it did make me think that it wasn't going to be about Halsar.
Yes, yeah. And she says, she was like, well, then why did you go and ask about Halsar? And he says that that's the thing. Seers never give you the answer to the question that you ask. So that's like sort of an insinuation that he asked about something else.
Yeah. What did he
ask about?
And was it her?
Oh, it's definitely her. Come on.
Yeah.
So they head down the mountain, and Freya keeps thinking about her and Bjorn together, and she thinks that it went as far as it did because of her, and that he only reacted in that way because he's a man. And
honestly,
I hate it.
I wanted to throw the book.
I hate it. And she's like, oh, he wouldn't purposefully shame his father, so, like, it's obviously all her fault.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, girl, no, he's responsible for his own actions.
It was his idea.
It was his idea.
I thought that they were going to climb a tree.
Climb a tree?
Yeah, when they had no choices, I thought they'd just climb a tree, you know, normal shit.
And have sex in the tree?
No, I just thought that they would just climb up trees, and then the army would go past them underneath and not notice them.
Oh.
I feel like that could have been a better solution than this.
Really?
Well, no, we wanted this.
Yeah, we did.
I could do without her guilt every 2 seconds, though.
That's true.
But, yes.
Yes, 100%. Her guilt is ridiculous. And it's sort of...
over everything.
Yeah, and I'm sort of just, like, eye-rolling at it now.
Yeah.
But, like, she's... The reason why I guess she feels so guilty is because she has feelings. Like, she knows that it's not just pure attraction. She actually likes him. Maybe even more. So they make it to the base of the mountain. There are a bunch of tents set up for various Jarls. I guess, like, the minor soldiers that, like, don't have the honor of going up the mountain. And I'm just like, is nobody worried about her being attacked now? Like, there's just, like, it's just a whole bunch of tents from all the different Jarls, like, just congregating together in, like, almost like a little tent town. But, like,
yeah,
there's no worry of, oh, she might get attacked here. I don't know why, but they don't talk about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
I guess she's just not going to.
Yeah.
It's not part of the plot.
So they find their soldiers, and Snorri's like, pack up, we gotta get back to Halsar. Steinem is here. Sorry, and, like, she's not dead. I
keep calling her Steinem because I don't know why. I think the double N, I'm like, it's an M.
Yeah. I genuinely thought she was dead.
Oh, yeah. When they were like, she didn't make it back, I was like, well, did she walk all the way? Like, where? What the fuck?
Yeah. But it also didn't seem that far for her to, like, they're like, oh, I don't know, it just doesn't seem that far from where the base of the mountain is versus the entrance to underneath the mountain. Yeah. Like, it seemed like they only traveled, like, half the night to get there. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
So, Steinen immediately sees, like, Freya and crew, and is like, oh, Freya, you gotta tell me your story about Under the Mountain, you promised. And Bjorn's just like, she's barely slept, can you just leave her alone? Because we sort of know that Bjorn doesn't have a great relationship with Steinen.
Yeah.
So they sort of snap a little bit back and forth until Bjorn leaves. And he goes to get their horses ready. And Freya stays behind and tells the story. And Bodil says, like, don't worry, I'll watch over her. So, like, even when they're on their horses, she, like, tells her the story.
Mm-hmm.
And they ride all night, and she falls asleep and dreams of, like, Halsar burning and it being her fault. And when she wakes up, Bodil is there, and Freya just knows that she has to watch what she says in front of her because she can sense truth from lies, and, like, she is another Jarl. Like, she's not...
Yeah.
Like, she can't trust her.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's been all Jarls attacking her lately, so, like, that would be stupid to trust her. Do you think her dreams... Has she had any other dreams that I can't really think...
I don't think so.
But I just wonder, like, her dream of it being on fire, could she have some type of seer ability? Could that be the other god blood?
Oh, maybe.
And it's just, like, not great because she's, I don't know. Maybe she doesn't have, like, it fully developed, the seer. Like, it just came up this second. I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I do find it odd that she had this dream.
Yeah.
But also, it could just be that they literally live in a time where everything is made of wood and thatched hay, so,
yes.
like, it seems like fire is sort of the way that everybody raids and, like, you know.
100%. And she could just be, like, afraid and assuming that this is happening, so then she dreams about it. But we're just trying to figure out who the other god is. So I was like, could this be a clue?
Maybe.
I don't know.
So they talk of Halsar, and Bodil believes that, like, everyone in Halsar's fate is already decided. But Freya's like, if I'm unfated, why can't I make decisions that will alter the fates of others? And, like, initially she's like, oh, so you agree with Snorri? And Bodil's like, no, I don't. But, like, she does think that people's fates are already decided, except for theirs, because they're unfated.
Yeah.
So then they discuss seers a little bit, and Freya is frustrated by seers because Bodil's like, how do we know that this seer was talking about Halsar? Like, maybe it's somewhere else entirely in the future. And Freya's like, but I mean, if everything is so cryptic, why bother asking them anything?
Which is not a bad point.
No, it's not. And Bodil even says, like, the seers are literally speaking the words of the gods. Like, the gods give them words and they just speak them aloud. So she was like, is it not the height of hubris for mortals to think that they can take the words of gods and bend it to their own purpose? So, like, the fact that Snorri is taking the word of a god and taking it upon himself to enact that prophecy, is that not wild that he thinks he can do that?
100%. 100% agree. We're on the same page.
And then she says, how can those, she doesn't say Snorri's name, but, like, insinuates Snorri, control her fate when he can't even control his own? And I'm like, yes! Yes, queen. Yeah. Like, 100%. Snorri's fate is already written, and yet he thinks he can control Freya, who is unfated. And I think that's ridiculous.
Yes. But I also just don't understand. Because if she does something different, is his fate going to change? Like, if she killed him, is that already fated? That she was going to kill him? If she decides on a whim to kill him? Like, it's just... Yeah. It boggles the mind.
It does boggle the mind. So Bodil leaves then to go chat with Ylva. And Bjorn approaches her and asks, like, what were you guys talking about? And she doesn't answer, and instead she just says, like, why did you go see the seer? And he tells her then that he asked the seer to, he said, like, he wanted to know if he was on the right path. Whether he was on the path that they wanted him on. Yeah. And the seer answered with that prophecy that we have. So they make their way to Halsar, and sure enough, it had been attacked and it was all burned.
Just, yeah. Everyone's dead.
Yeah. Like, everywhere's empty. Cool. So Ylva's freaking out, and she's like, where the fuck is Leaf? Yeah. But then very quickly a group of survivors approach, Leaf being one of them. So it turns out they had a scout, and the scout saw the attack incoming and gave time for some people to escape while others, like, fought the warriors to give those other people time to leave. But everything is burned. All their homes, all their supplies, their tools, everything is gone.
Yeah.
So they're all homeless. And Freya knows that, like, they're going to have to start rebuilding, and it's harvest season. So, like, that means that they'll be busy rebuilding instead of preparing for winter. So that means that over the winter, people are going to starve and die.
Yeah.
They also find out that it was Jarl Nut, the guy who first attacked and they set fire to their boats. It was that guy that attacked them. So, 2 soldiers bring Liv, the healer, bring her body over. And, like, obviously Bjorn is sad and angry that she's dead. Bodil offers to send word to her people for supplies and ships and laborers to help rebuild. But Snorri is, like, just pissed. He's like, I don't want to rebuild. Yeah. He's like, Nut fears me and what the gods have in store. And he thinks he's going to be safe for another season, but, like, we want to attack. We're going to attack him.
Yeah.
And then he tells everyone that, like, Halsara was weak as a position anyway. Like, it could be attacked from all angles. It was not strategically placed. But, like, they stayed there because it was their home. But he's like, I'm a king in a united Scotland, and a king doesn't stay in a muddy fishing village. Nor does a king's people. So, like, already he's just got aspirations that are higher than what he should have. Like, just be grateful for what you have, dude. And now you have nothing, but, like... Yeah. Anyway. So, he says that they will sleep within the walls of Grindhill. And all of his people are shouting and agreeing. So, Grindhill, I think, is, it's Nut's house. Like, Nut's territory.
Nut's Halsar.
Yeah. And everyone is, like, shouting and agreeing, including Freya, because she gets
swept away.
She does. She is very angry that this happened, and she does blame Nut for it. Well, I mean, it is his fault. So she is like, yes, let's go for vengeance. Like, I want retribution.
Yeah.
And she turns, because she's, like, still kneeling with Liv's body, and she turns to tell Bjorn that they will make the bastards bleed for this, but he's gone.
So, do you think he missed most of the speech? Or did he only just leave? It's important for the future parts.
I think he heard some of it. And then I think he left.
Yeah.
I think if he didn't hear all of it, he heard most of it.
Yeah.
Because he does say, like, in the future, he mentions, like, what his dad wants to do and how it's stupid. So.
Yeah.
So, they set up camp for the night, just near the village anyway, and Snorri sends out a call in his territory for every able-bodied person to come and fight. Bodil also calls for reinforcements and supplies, and Snorri believes that they will go and destroy Nut, and his people will then turn on him for denying the gods and the rightful king. So Snorri thinks he's going to go attack Nut's territory, kill Nut, and all of Nut's people will be like, yeah, you deserve to die because you disobeyed the gods. Because he attacked Snorri. He's really just delusional, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Freya sits and talks with Bodil. And Bodil says that, like, Snorri believes his own words, and there is power in that because, like, Snorri is, like, he's a good speaker. He's managing to get his people on side and get them believing what he believes.
Yeah.
So, that's good for him. And Freya asks if Bodil believes him. And Bodil just says that she believes they're on the cusp of, like, great change, and she just wants to be a part of it.
Just like a non-answer.
Yeah. But I appreciate it.
I respect it. Yeah.
And Freya's like, how do you know if someone is lying? Because I guess she was wondering. And Bodil's like, oh, my feet itch. And I find that also really interesting because Freya gets itchy when she feels the god's presence, right? She gets itchy tingly.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
I wonder if there's, like, correlation there.
I have been thinking about it since you mentioned the blood of two gods, I don't know, 10, 20, 40 minutes ago. I don't know how long time is. I think the other god inside of her is a god of rage.
Yeah, like a god of vengeance.
Yeah.
We're going, we're going,
Kingdom
of the Wicked.
Feared? Yeah. I was like, I know one of them. Yeah. Yeah. It's just what has come up. But there's a bunch of different things it could be.
Yeah.
But it's definitely interesting.
So Bodil then tells her that when she was younger, obviously she couldn't tell the difference between when people were lying with their words or with their tone. She said her power just said, oh, they're lying.
Sarcasm, per se.
Yeah. Like, her power doesn't distinguish the difference. She had to learn that as she grew older and got more experience. She had to learn the difference between someone telling a lie because of empathy, because of shame or fear or sarcasm or anything like that. Bjorn then comes upon them, and I think before Bjorn comes upon them and they sort of flirt-ish. And Bodil obviously, like, can sense that something is up. And again, she can sense when someone is being truthful versus lying. So, like, they're talking and, like, she can sense there's something.
Yeah. And she is Ylva's friend.
Yes. So, so Freya asks, like, where Bjorn went when Snorri was making his speech. And he says, oh, I was looking for healing supplies because Liv's house with all of her supplies was destroyed. So we have no healing supplies. So I was looking for healing supplies so I could make the salve for your hand. And that was nice.
It is really nice. And it's just like...
Well, and Bodil is still there. And it's like,
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So she's like, okay, but why did you leave during the speech? You missed your dad's speech. And he's like, Nuts Village is a literal fortress, and the only way to claim it is to starve its occupants. Like, there's no way we can breach that.
Yeah.
And Bodil's like, don't be so pessimistic. We have him, the Shield Maiden, a ton of soldiers. But Bjorn just doesn't think that they should risk so many to die so that Snorri could be king.
Yeah.
And Bodil's, like, surprised because she's like, but you have a reputation for throwing yourself into many battles and killing. But then he just tells her that just because she can discern the truth doesn't mean she's entitled to it. I love it too. And then I guess that sours him, so he leaves. And Freya apologizes on his behalf. And she's like, oh, he's just upset that his home is destroyed. And I'm thinking in my head, it's not his home.
Yeah.
But Bodil's like, oh, his concern is for one person in particular. And she also mentions, like, Bodil just sort of, like, says something about, like, you need to be careful of gossip, and, like, she says something that gossip could really, like, hurt people unintentionally, and just, like, puts into Freya's head that if people sense there could be something between her and Bjorn, even if they didn't act on anything, if anyone senses anything between them and tells Snorri, he could punish Bjorn. So, like, she's thinking about that.
Yeah. Then
Bodil asks Freya if she thinks that this is the right path, like going after Nuts fortress. And Freya talks it out, and she's actually very strategic.
Yeah.
She's very smart. She's like, well, we shouldn't rebuild Halsar because her presence makes it vulnerable, and it is not strategically placed. Also, they can't construct their own fortress because that would take too much time, too much silver, and people will die in the meantime. Plus, they need to show the other Jarls that there are consequences for attacking Snorri. And there are benefits to following him. So they have to show that Nut... They have to make an example of Nut.
Mm-hmm.
So Bodil's like, well, how can we take Nut's fortress then? And Freya's like, oh, for everybody to unite and for, like, Nut's people to accept them, she needs to be the one that takes it. And so Bodil's like, you're right, you do. But also, I will train you because you need to learn to fight like a woman. And I'm like, you literally had, like, one training session with Bjorn and you learned how to hold up a shield. Like, I don't think we should write off his training lessons immediately.
No, but it does give her a way to spend less time with him.
Yeah, it does.
Which is probably good.
Yeah. And Bodil just tells her that she is a woman worth following. So I'm just like, that's nice. So we
that is
we
nice.
really get that Bodil is there for her, not for Snorri.
Yes.
Before she leaves, she tells Freya that, like, Steinen is gonna come sing the song that she's been composing about her exploits under the mountain if she wants to come sit by her fire to hear it. So after Bodil leaves, Bjorn comes back and tries to warn Freya to, like, watch what she says in front of her. And, like, Freya knows that. But, again, she's thinking of what Bodil said to her about gossip, and she's worried of what Snorri's going to do to Bjorn if he knew that even if he knew that she had a thing for him, and if it wasn't even reciprocated. Like, she needs some distance. So she's sort of, like, cold to him and just leaves him and follows Bodil to her fire and, like, gets drunk with her soldiers.
Yeah.
So all of her soldiers are also women, I think. Like, it's all maidens.
Yeah, which is fun.
So she drinks and dances that night, and it's just the women. Like, anytime a dude comes sniffing around, they all are like, get out! Leave!
Yeah, they have, like, sticks to beat them off.
And then Steinen performs her song for all of them. And I think it's Bodil that says, like, be careful, because she's going to sing this song, and for everybody else it's going to be exciting. But for you, it's going to be like PTSD. Like, it's just going to bring you right back into it. It's not going to be...
100%.
Like, you're not going to feel the entertainment that everyone else feels.
Yeah.
So... she starts to sing the song, and it brings Freya right back into the memory. And the way that the magic works is it makes it puts everybody into Freya's shoes. So, like, they can see Bjorn right in front of her. And, like, you're seeing out of Freya's eyes. So you feel like you are Freya. So obviously she is seeing this out of her own eyes. So, like, but it's making her physically ill. Yeah. And she listens right up to the moment where the gold cup bounces down the stairs. And she looks down at her feet and sees that the boots she's wearing have red laces, which are not her boots. And I don't understand why that's important. And then she passes out.
I think it's just because she's like, it's not real. Or, like, I don't know. But, yeah, it does seem like it's more important than I think it is. Okay, so Freya wakes up and Bodil is there asking if she's ready to fight, and she just says no, which is just kind of funny. But she asks if it's dawn yet, and Bodil tells her that hours have passed dawn, so she slept in, but Bjorn has actually been sitting outside of her tent threatening to kill anyone who woke her up. And I'm like, when is he sleeping?
That's true. He never sleeps.
No, he doesn't. He must not. So, and also, he's the one that carried her in here after she passed out, which is sweet. Bodil then gives her the salve to put on her hand, and Freya just immediately puts it in her pocket. And we're like, what are you doing? But we'll actually get there. Freya feels embarrassed because she
passed out.
She slept in. She, like, even though she stayed up an entire night almost because they were in, like, you'd think that they would let her get some extra sleep. But anyway, she's embarrassed by it. But Bodil says that no one noticed her pass out last night because they were all so enraptured in the song. And the only reason that Bodil noticed was because she actually put wool in her ears because she didn't want to hear the propaganda. And I'm like, she's something. Like,
she's good. She is good.
She is good. She's got some thoughts, and I want to know them. Mm-hmm. And that makes Freya think, like, Bodil obviously doesn't want Snorri to be king. All these comments she's making, like, you kind of made that point already. But it makes her wonder if Bodil is developing this relationship with Freya because she wants to be queen. Like, is she the one that wants to control her? So she's kind of feeling a bit worried. Like, should she be
maybe this isn't a genuine
friendship, which is kind of what it starts to seem like. And I was like, oh shit, I want her to actually have a fucking friend.
Yeah, somebody who's on her side and to tell her like it is.
Yeah.
Just for the sake
of... And who knows the truth.
You're a cool person.
Mm-hmm. So I hope that that's not the case. I hope that she's just like... I hope that she doesn't want to lead everyone. I hope that she's just like a cool dude. But I guess we'll figure it out. But anyway... so they leave, or Freya leaves then, and she starts to feel shame because she sees everyone else, like, busy working. They're, like, getting camp foraging, all this shit, because the whole town is gone. And Bjorn just yells out to her, and she turns on him and tells him not to coddle her, and she says she will pull her own weight. And he says she should have considered that before drinking herself sick.
Not a lie.
Yeah. And she's like, he is right. But she's like, that's my own fault and I'll deal with it. But she does tell him if she wants his opinion or his assistance, she'll ask. And I do kind of like Bodil is just like, way to go. You really need to put men in their place sometimes. But then she's also like, he did clean vomit off of your face, though, when he brought you back. And it's like, maybe you should give him a bit of slack, but also put men in their place. She's a girl's girl.
Yeah. We love a girl's girl.
So Freya's just completely thinking about, like, she thinks that Bodil suspects that there's something going on between her and Bjorn. Because
there is.
Yeah, because there is. Because she has eyes, and she's watching them. And she thinks, like, if Bodil suspects, Ylva could easily notice. And then Bjorn would be screwed. And she doesn't want that to happen, obviously. But she thinks Bjorn treats her more like a wife than his father's wife. Like, yeah, he fucking does. And she thinks, like, she hopes that, like, telling him to back off will make him, and he'll start to see someone else and, like, leave her alone and start to, like, have sex with someone else. And then she's, like, immediately crazy jealous about that thought. And it's like, you're the one that, you came up with this hypothetical woman, and now you're jealous of her. This is your own fault.
Yeah.
So she trains with Bodil and her maidens for hours, and they're working on, like, the shield walls and fighting larger opponents, and, like, obviously it makes sense for her to train with what women do. Mm-hmm. She is smaller, usually, than her opponents. Even though Bodil seems like she's huge, which I love. Love a muscle mommy. And then her hand starts aching, and she's kind of, I guess, moving it around. And Bodil asks her why she doesn't use the salve. And Freya's just like, she's like, what do you mean?
I do.
I do. But she just says she doesn't know why, like, Bjorn cares so much that she uses it. Because he's always the one that, like, tells her to keep using it, reminds her, or puts it on her himself. And Bodil's just like, well, it was his axe that hurt you. So he probably just feels guilty about it and wants, like, you to feel better. Like, it makes some sense. I don't think that's the only reason, obviously. But, like, it is an excuse. And Freya's actually like, oh my god, what a perfect excuse. I should have thought of that.
Yeah.
And then Bodil is just like, but really, though, if he doesn't prompt you to do it, you don't do it yourself. Why? And Freya just says she's forgetful, and Bodil disagrees and says that she thinks that Freya thinks that she deserves the pain. And she's just like, why do you think that? And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, we're in her head, and I didn't catch this.
None of us picked up on this.
No.
Not even her.
Yeah. So Freya just says that Vragi was a piece of shit, and he ruined her life, and he would have ruined Ingrid's life and her brother, but who... But then she says, like, she murdered him, and he didn't necessarily deserve that. And she says, like, he was an ass, but no one ever starved, because obviously he had the, like, fish magic.
Yes. The fish magic.
The fish. And now that he's dead, like, the people in her village could die over the winter.
Yeah.
Like,
they could
because
suffer.
they might not have enough food. And they might not, I don't know. It's a valid thing to be sad about. I don't think she needs to take all the blame on herself, though.
I mean, like, I don't blame her, but, like, she did kill him.
Yeah.
I don't think that's bad. I think he was a piece of shit and deserved it. But, like, I understand why she feels guilty.
Yes, yeah. So she actually says she doesn't feel guilty for killing him. I think she feels guilty for the repercussions of killing him.
It seems like she feels guilty because she doesn't feel guilty.
Yes, but she's also like, yeah, she does say if she was anyone else, Snorri would have immediately either had her executed or, like, she would have gotten into trouble if she was anyone else. But she's the shield maiden, so she was allowed to kill him. But she says, like, that's the pain in her hand is her way to, like, keep herself from doing it again, basically. It's her way to feel something about having killed him. It's like her punishment for it. Because she's basically worried that she'll kill without remorse or punishment if she doesn't check herself. Which is another, like, vengeance god or rage god. Like, what the fuck is going on? Bodil actually hugs her, which I think is nice.
That is nice.
And tells her that Lynn's blood makes her want to protect those she loves, and that Vragi was an ass, no matter the amount of fish that he got people. And he chose to attack her and hers by going after Ingrid, even though he could have just walked off with the money, and then he was like, I'm going to make your life even worse. And Freya thinks, like, it was actually rage, not protectiveness, that made her act.
Oh, so that's sort of...
Yeah.
You're bringing your...
Yeah, which I honestly, when I was writing these notes, did not have this idea in my head, but now I'm like, it's everywhere.
It is everywhere.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of a nice moment, and she's like, I guess, figuring herself out. I thought, because the first time we got the salve, I thought that it was like a cost thing, because she was like, she wasn't using it, and then, Bjorn was like, you need to put it on for it to work. And he was like, don't worry about the cost. And she thought about how, like, frugal she was in her past life because she didn't have any money. So I thought it was going to be something like that. Anyway, completely different. I didn't see it leading to this, but sure. So she does take a few minutes and she puts the salve on and she does some breathing exercises to, like, regulate herself, which I kind of appreciate. I'd like that there's some moments of centering. Like, I don't find breathing exercises work for me because I get too focused on my breathing and then I start panicking. But I do appreciate it that it works for other people. And I like seeing it in books. I like seeing actionable things that can make you feel better when you're like having a panic attack or like that kind of stuff. I like seeing mental health things in books.
I agree.
Huzzah. So she's just in the tent, and then she can smell and hear the specter, and she like, I guess, looks out and sees the specter. So she follows them into the forest, and I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. You're gonna get yourself killed. I wanted to put the book down because I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And it was the same when she left the hall when everyone else had left. I was like, what are you doing? You're gonna get yourself in trouble.
She is dumb.
But I have to keep reading for this podcast, so in both cases, I kept reading. So she can't catch up to the specter, but eventually it stops on a hill and motions for her. So she climbs up, and she's about to, like, go over the hill, but it holds her back. And she can see that their skin is bubbling with flame, but it feels cold as ice when they touch her. And it, like, the specter tells her to look. And she's just like, what the fuck is going on? And she's like, I don't like that they're touching me.
Yeah. It's also, like, she says that, like, it's really grotesque, too. Like,
yeah. Like, there's bone jutting out, and then, like, it's still on fire. It's not ideal.
No.
But she does see a hooded figure is... I said fucking around with a tree, just as in, like, she doesn't know what they're doing. They're doing something. But she can't see who they are or what they're doing. So that person leaves, and we have no idea who it was. She assumes it's a woman. I don't even know if that's true. But she goes down, and there are runes in the tree. And there's, like, an eye in the center of the runes. So... she touches the eye in the middle, and she sees Snorri's speech about attacking and not rebuilding. And she's like, it's a spy. And then she's like, okay, but is it a spy for Nut? Or is it another Jarl? Or is it, like, a spy for King Harold? And then she just throws all of her thoughts away, and she's like, it's Ylva. I've seen her do ruins. And she hates Bjorn, so she's going to... tell Harold to attack, like,
yeah,
to kill all the people. This is like, what the fuck?
I think,
but anyway,
I think it's like somebody is planting the memory on the tree so that someone else, like somebody that they have already predetermined, will come and location. Look at, will come to this location, find the rune, look at the memory, and have knowledge of what the plan is.
Yeah. Of the not rebuilding, and they're gonna go take Nut's fortress. Yeah. So, but she's just immediately like, it's Ylva leaving a message for King Harold. And I'm like, what? I mean... and she even had other thoughts. And then she was just like, nope, this is the only, only option.
I do understand why. Like, Ylva is the only person she has seen who can do the runes. So, like, I understand why she feels that way. But again, she doesn't even know it's a woman. She just sees a person in a hood and is like, oh, it's a woman!
I know.
Like, it might not be.
She does assume that, and I want to know if there's another reason she assumes that. Because, like, I think you think that it's...
I think it's Bjorn.
You think it is.
Obviously.
You do, yeah.
I 100% think that
I did think
Bjorn.
so. I'm not 100% sure if I do think it's him. And I do think, like, I would assume that she would recognize his, like, walk or his cloak or his something if she's so fucking in love with him. Like, and not assume that he's a woman.
Oh, maybe. But I think,
like, I don't know.
I think
she made what she wants to see.
I think she made the leap to Ylva so quickly that now she's like... I saw a woman. Like, it's like, she wants to say it's Ylva without saying it's Ylva.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. So, she's, like, ready to run to Snorri and get him to come look at it and be like, it's your wife! But she turns around and runs into a brick wall.
Wow.
And it's Bjorn.
Of course it is.
But it's also, like, so if he left... front ways, did he just circle back around? If it was him that put the runes there, did he just circle back around behind her?
Yes.
Or, like, he's just everywhere. So she runs into him, and he's like, why are you alone in the woods? And she's like, fuck, now I'm alone with him, and that's not what I want people to see.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, why are you following me? And he says that his father tasked him with keeping her alive, so that's what he's doing. So she tells him about the specter, and then she looks back, but the runes have disappeared, and she's pissed. She's like, fuck, now what am I supposed to do? I can't, like, how am I supposed to show them the runes and the proof if it's disappeared?
Yeah, she's like, no one's gonna believe my word over Ylva's, yeah.
And we're like, it's not your word against Ylva. You just have to tell them there's a spy, which is exactly what Bjorn basically says. But he says he's not sure it is Ylva, and he says she wouldn't risk her people. And I agree. But he does say, either way, Snorri won't believe it's her without some proof. So Freya tries to brush Bjorn off to go tell Snorri alone so that no one realizes that they're in the woods together. And he just asks why she's avoiding him. And she deflects it and asks why he ran off last night. And he's like, he was running away from Bodil because he doesn't like talking around her because of her magic.
Mm-hmm. Valid point.
100%.
Because he's hiding the fact that he's a spy. But okay.
True, yeah. But he wasn't running away from her. And she just says, like, she was busy training. And he's like, yeah, with Bodil. And then she kind of just, like, goes on a bit of a righteous rant. And, like, it makes sense. But it's also, like, she's clearly still deflecting. But she's like, she does say, like, he didn't want to train her. And she needs to learn to fight men by women who understand her kind of body type.
Yeah.
And her strength. And she just mentions that, like, she's weaker than men, and he just cuts in and says that she isn't weak, which is kind of cute.
Yeah.
But he does agree that, like, yeah, it does make sense for Bodil to be helping you learn how to fight. Fine. And then he asks why she can't look at him. And so Akko. But she immediately just tells him the truth.
But I like that. Again,
I do too.
I like that she's very much like, I'll tell you like it is.
Yeah, I think it's super brave. I don't think I'd have the balls, to be honest.
No, but I said this week one, that she seems very upfront. We're not going to have any miscommunication tropes with these two.
No.
Until Bjorn tells her that he's been the spy the whole time.
Yeah. Well, is that a miscommunication, or is that just, like, he just admitted something?
Lying by omission, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I just am, like, in awe of her for being so honest, because I would have been like, I'm not avoiding you, and just, like, not looked.
Yes, yeah.
Because I'm a baby.
Yeah.
But she's just, like, she says she's avoiding what they did, and he says that it was necessary. And she's like, so if it was so necessary, why didn't we tell Snorri that we did it? I'm like, wait.
Valid.
And he's just like, yeah, but also, can you imagine telling him?
Sorry, Dad, we had to make out and I saw your wife's boobs.
Yeah.
My bad.
My bad.
They're spectacular, sorry.
Which is funny because Snorri hasn't seen them. So Bjorn
doesn't
says, like,
know that, though.
No, I know. Kicker. I know, it really is. Bjorn cuts in and says, like, it didn't mean anything. And that's, like, a punch to the gut, obviously.
Yep.
But again, she's super, like, forthcoming. And she's like, she says it meant something to her. And I'm just like, damn, girl.
Way to hit him with the hard truth.
Yeah. She says, like, she wanted him, and she kind of spirals in the shame of it all and how it's all her fault, and she wanted it, and it disrespects him and his father, and to shut her up, he just kisses her. And he tells her that she loves to take the blame when he kissed her first.
Yep.
And touched her. And I'm like, yes, that's what we're saying.
Thank you for taking some responsibility here, fellow.
And he also says it wasn't respect for his father pressed between her thighs. Which is just a hilarious line. And he says then or now, because he's turned on now.
Yep.
And he tells her he wanted her the first time he saw her, which, like, we already knew.
Yeah. He threatened to kill whoever she was married to, so...
Yeah, like, surprise. And he wanted her that night, and now, tomorrow, and all of the tomorrows. And I'm like, God damn.
That's a good line.
It is.
Although, if someone said it to me in person, I'd be like, ew.
Yeah. It's funny. So she has her hands in his hair, and they're, like, making out, and then they hear footfalls, so they pull away from each other. And he's just like, oh, it's a deer. And I'm like, are you fucking dumb? I don't believe it's a deer.
Oh, don't you?
No!
Oh.
I think someone caught them.
Ooh.
Why have that in there?
Because it breaks
It
the moment.
I guess, but it specifically said footfalls. And I'm like, you wouldn't really call a deer, like, what? Like, maybe? You'd think you would differentiate between the 4 cloppity clop clops of a deer and a footfall.
But, like, deer have feet.
Listen, I don't trust anyone or anything in this fucking book. So I don't think it's a goddamn deer.
Fine.
I think it's Ylva. No, I actually don't know. I don't know who I think it is, but
I feel
it'd be
like
funny if it was Ylva.
If it was a person, it would have to be somebody who is willing to keep their secret. Because if it was anybody, like, if it was Ylva, if it was any of Snorri's warriors, if it was anybody like that of note, they would immediately run to Snorri, and Snorri would know about it. So, like, I think if it's anybody, it could be Bodil.
Yeah, so it could be Bodil, it could be Leaf, because he has an allegiance to his brother, I feel like. Like, he has a good relationship with Bjorn.
Yeah. But I don't think that would trump the one he has to, like, his mom and his dad.
I don't know. I feel like he would talk to him about it. See, I feel like there would have been a conversation, but we wouldn't necessarily get that. Like, maybe somebody confronted Bjorn about it, and we just don't know it. Because there has to be warriors that are loyal to him as opposed to his father. You would assume, because he's also strong and, like...
Yeah, but, like, all of them are his dad's men. Like, none of them are his men.
I know, but he's got, like, god blood, and his dad is just a piece of shit. So I just feel like, we don't really know much about, like, obviously he wasn't there for... Oh, you know what? So obviously, whoever the spy was just put it on the tree. It could be the person coming to figure out what's happening. It could be, like, one of Harold's men. So maybe it'll get back to Harold, and Harold will use her against him when he double crosses him because he cares about her. If Bjorn is the spy.
Yeah.
So maybe it is somebody, but it's not somebody. Maybe it's whoever the spy was trying to give the information to. Because obviously someone was going to come figure it out. Okay. We've talked it through. It could have been a deer. Who knows? So Freya just says that they can't do this because it's not a one-time thing, and they'll do it again and again, and they will get caught. And then when Snorri finds out, he'll hurt or kill her family and execute or banish Bjorn, and she'll have to live with it. Because she's not replaceable, but everybody else is. So,
yeah,
she'll have to live with whatever choices are made, and like it's not really fair on her. Like if Bjorn gets killed, he doesn't have to live with it.
No, she does. Although I also feel like I don't know if even if Snorri like I feel like Snorri threatening to like disown or get rid of Bjorn, I feel like that's a load of baloney, because he's not gonna willfully give up a son of someone with Tyr's blood in it. He's too powerful.
100%.
And Snorri, like, he covets powerful people. That's why he has, like, that's why he's been looking for Freya. That's why he rescued his son. That's why he's got Steinen, like, close by. That's why he had the healer live. Like, he covets those with power. So I don't think he would just up and, like, abandon his child. Like, I think that's a lot of talk and baloney.
I do too. I don't know what he would do, though, if he realized that his son was disrespecting. If other people found out, I think would be the biggest issue. Because it would make Snorri look bad.
Yes.
So, if it was just Snorri, he might not even care. But if other people found out, I think he would care a lot.
He would do
something. And he'd have to do something to save face. Yeah. But yeah. Freya tells him to stay away because she says she can't be responsible for failing, and then she just like runs away from him.
Valid.
Yeah, 100%. So she tells Snorri then that there's a spy, and she explains that the Spectre brought her to the clearing and what she saw. And then Snorri asks if it spoke to her, and she says it said, "Look." And he asks for Steinen to come in because he's like, this is another trial. Steinen needs to hear about it. So Steinen asks her what she saw. And she says that the Spectre was a human and they were like burnt really, really badly and still kind of burning and like bones and shit. And they had green eyes. And Snorri just says, it's her. And Ylva says, what?
I was just going to say, it's who?
Yeah. And Ylva's just like, you don't know that. But he says she's the one who foretold Freya coming. So we kind of realize at the same time that Bjorn shows up that it's his mother is what. Snorri thinks that it's Saga is the Spectre.
But we don't even know what a Spectre is.
No, we kind of get a tiny bit more here. Because, so Bjorn shows up and Freya realizes that they think it's his mother, and Snorri just tells him that he thinks that it's his mother. And Bjorn just responds that she is loyal to Snorri even after death. And I just find that such an interesting answer.
Yeah. You're thinking that maybe she's not.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what we were talking about earlier. Like, maybe she isn't. Or, like, is he trying to make it seem like, can he see her? Has he seen her before? Does he talk to her? Is she the one that was talking to Harold because a mother...
Yeah, but, like, in my brain, she's a specter. Like, that's like a ghost. Like, I can't imagine ghosties doing ghosty things.
I don't understand why Freya can see her. But Snorri says that she's like, either she is loyal to him or she's just tied to Freya's fate. And Freya does think, like, if this Spectre is Bjorn's mother, that means she's been suffering her death for all of these years. And I guess that's what happens. Like, a Spectre is someone who dies. It kind of makes me think of ghosts who are stuck in a loop on Supernatural.
Yeah, they suffer like a tragic death and can't get out of it.
Yeah, then they're stuck in it. So it does, like, I guess maybe it's something like, it does sound ghosty, but I don't know. I made a note for myself and I was like, is that irony? And I don't remember why I thought that. So that's not helpful.
Nope.
I was like, I'll know what I'm talking about. I don't.
I do not remember what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh, maybe, I don't even think this is it, but maybe I was thinking, like, she died by fire and her son has, like, fire god magic. I don't think that's what I was thinking, but that's, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so Freya tells them that the message was left with sorcery runes, and the spy is a woman. And Bodil asks her to show... Well, that's why I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, why is she so adamant? Is it... Anyway, we'll figure it out when we get there. But Bodil asks her to show them the runes, and she just, like, draws them. And I'm like, does she have a photographic memory?
But, like, also, does this not prove your point that it might not be Ylva? It literally could be anyone.
Yes, 100%. And she feels something on her, like, in her head. And then Ylva goes over and presses the eye and just sees a memory. And you're like, what fucking memory did she put in there?
Yeah.
When does it stop? Ugh. Anyway, Ylva just says that she's seen it and it's easy magic to teach. And obviously, because Freya just learned it. And Ylva says that, like, they need to gather everyone who saw the speech, and Bodil can actually suss out the truth and figure out who the spy is, if they literally get every single person. And Freya's like, yeah, and no one should be exempt, and looks directly at Ylva. And I'm like, you're so fucking obvious. Ugh. But Ylva just swears it wasn't her, and Bodil's like, yep, that's the truth.
But again, like, Bodil is, like, apparently a very close friend.
Yeah, so that's, like, the other thing. Where, like, if Bodil lied for her, if it was her that was talking to Harold, Bodil could have easily lied for her and been like, I was talking to her. So, like, who knows? But Freya doesn't think that Bodil is lying. She's immediately just like, oh yeah, that's the truth then. And I'm like...
Yeah, she trusts her.
Why do you believe that?
Because Bodil has been training her and getting on her good side. So, like, doing what, like...
Yeah.
It's just... Could be what the plan was all along.
Yes. It just seems odd that she's so set that it's Ylva, and she's like, oh, but 100% gonna put all my trust in this person I just met. And I'm like, you'd think that she'd use a bit more reasoning, but... I'm kind of glad she's off the Ylva train, because I think it's a red herring. She's not really, though. So they're trying to figure out how to find the spy, and then Snorri just cuts in and says that Saga doesn't want them to find the traitor, but showed Freya that to tell them that Nut now knows their plan. And Saga was showing them the path Freya has to take forward. And Freya's just like, what the fuck are you talking about? She's like, she didn't say that. She just told me to look. But he says he controls her and he knows. So they're going to go over the mountain and attack Nut's fortress. And we just get that, like, over the mountain is a terrible place to travel. Like, nobody does this kind of journey in the... I think it's early spring, so it's still frozen and awful. And Freya's basically worried that people are just going to die before they even get there to attack.
Valid point.
So, 100%. Bjorn comes up to her and asks if she's all right, because she looks like she's freezing her tits off. And she just retorts back like, oh, if only a man would offer to warm them with his hands. And you're just like, this isn't making anyone think that you're not in love.
Yeah, well, but so this is the thing. So I guess it jumped now to them, like, traveling.
Yes. Yeah. And they're flirting. And I'm like, I thought you were going to stop.
Yeah.
But Bjorn she puts her arms under her, like, armpits then to warm them up, because she is fucking freezing. And Bjorn tells her that, like, that's a dumb way to walk. And it just reminds me of being a kid and when you walk with your hands in your pockets and parents being like, if you fall, you're not going to catch yourself. And you're always like, I'm not going to fall. That's silly.
Okay, can I just say that, like, No, my parents never told me that.
Really?
No.
That's funny.
Like, that never happened.
They told me that. My parents told me that all the time. So yeah, he's basically like, if you fall, you won't be able to catch yourself. And she's just like, I'm not gonna fall.
And then she falls. Like
100%.
A dumbass.
He does. Yeah, I think a tiny bit of time passes. He goes up to her with his axe out because he wants to warm her up. And she like moves out of the way, but then tumbles and falls and spins out of control and ends up in water. And you're like, you're fucked. You're dead. That's it. Story's over.
Yeah.
Bjorn pulls her out, and she's just like, do not tell me I told you so. And they kind of joke a bit, and he makes the joke of like, she keeps getting wet around him. And I'm like, that is so bad. Because it's true. But Snorri, I guess, asks if she's hurt. And Bjorn says she needs to warm up. But Snorri won't allow it. And he calls this a test for her.
Like, everything is a fucking test for her. Nothing is a test 100%. For anyone else. It's just all a test for her.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, Bjorn is right on. Like, in
100%.
Because he gets mad. And I'm here for it.
Yeah. So yeah, he says it's a test for her and that they also need to make it to the mountain crest tonight, or they like won't have their advantage in the fight. And Bjorn is just like, what the fuck? And they kind of have this argument a few times. So I don't think this is the time when he actually gets super mad.
Oh.
But he does later. They do go back and forth a tiny bit, but he's like, nope, that's what we need to do. You keep her warm, get her to the top of the mountain, and we'll figure it out there. So Bodhi gives her a strong drink and says that she's favored because if she fell a little bit to the left or to the right, she would have cracked her skull open and been dead. And obviously Freya's like, I don't really feel favored. I'm fucking freezing to death. And for some reason, and I don't really know if this ever comes up, and I think maybe it has to do with like growing up in the Nordeland place, but Bjorn is just frustrated and is like, stop calling this a mountain, it's a hill. And he says it a few times, and it's just like, I don't know why he cares so much, but it is kind of funny. So Bodil takes some shirts off because apparently she's wearing like 7. And Bjorn helps Freya take her clothes off, just her shirts, her top clothes off. Mm-hmm. But she tells him to close his eyes, so he does. And then she puts Bodhi's shirts on.
He's seen it already.
He has. It's all for Bodil's eyes. But she puts on Bodil's shirts, and then she puts on Bjorn's cloak, and Bodil says that he could be here naked, and he would still be warm because of Tyr's fire. And I'm like, make him naked. Mm-hmm. So they walk a bit, and Bodil tells Bjorn not to carry her or she'll freeze, because, like, obviously if she stops walking herself, the blood isn't, like, pumping through her body. It makes some sort of sense. She, like, slips again, and he goes to carry her anyway, but she says it's her test, and she needs to lead the warriors into battle tomorrow, so she needs to prove that she's worth it. So she powers through.
Good for her.
Yeah, but it's also like, just because Snorri said it's a test doesn't mean it's a test.
Yeah, but 100%. She's really taking
everything a test.
She's literally trusting everything Snorri says, and it's maddening.
And I don't necessarily think that this is her, like, I think she knows that Snorri could be full of shit, but she's also, A, bit worried it could be a test, and B, everyone else heard him say it was a test, so everyone else is going to believe it's a test. So even if she knows it's not a test, she kind of has to act like it is, or the men won't want to follow her because they won't think she passed the test. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like... But it is I'm just like, girl, you're gonna freeze to death. What the fuck? So they finally reach the camp, and there are no fires burning. And this is when Bjorn is pissed. But Snorri just says, like, she's blessed, so she'll be fine. And Bjorn says he's lighting a fire, but Snorri won't allow it because Nut has scouts, and they'll see it. And Bjorn says, like, Snorri will throw Freya to the wolves time and time again. And he says, yes, it's her destiny. And Bjorn asks about her suffering, and he's like, she's your wife. Like, what the fuck, basically. And Snorri says that Bjorn cares enough for the both of them. And I'm like, what?
Yes,
and
he
Freya's
does.
just like, oh shit. But Snorri says that Bjorn doesn't think like a Jarl thinks. He fixates on hardship in front of him. And it kind of makes you realize that he doesn't even see that there's something here. He just thinks that Bjorn is like...
too soft.
Yeah. Which is like...
and like empathetic.
You're an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, again, he doesn't see past his own nose anyway. He's so caught up in this delusion that he is meant to be the king. Yeah.
But it does make it easier, I think, for Bjorn to be a spy. With how stupid Snorri is about everything.
Yes, yeah.
So, it does add to that. And then Snorri says, like, the gods want Bjorn to protect her, but not to be so soft. And they're just like, okay. So, Freya's just like, well, can I have blankets and food? Or should I just freeze? And Snorri just says, do what you will. And she says, the people of Scotland unite under the one who controls her, fate, so he should be controlling it. And she's kind of trying to force his hand into, like, making a decision here. Yeah. Because she has a point. If he's going to say he controls her, what has he actually done to control her?
Yeah, like, control her.
She's manipulated him more than he's controlled her. He tells her to save her spirit for the fight and not to forget the cost of failure. And then he tells Bjorn to feed and warm her, but no fucking fire. And Bjorn says if she loses feet, it's on him. And Freya kind of has a moment where she wonders how much she will lose for this mission. She's like, her hand is fucked up. Not just this mission, but to unite Scotland as a whole. Like, what will she be left as if she actually goes through with all of this? Like, she already fucked up her hand. Right now her feet are frostbitten and, like, she could lose toes. Like, what is she going to be like as a person by the end of this?
Yeah, valid point.
Which I think is, like, yeah, it's super, super valid to worry about. And she's kind of, like, caught up in her thoughts and also, I guess, kind of passing out-ish.
Yeah, she's a lot worse than what we thought.
Yes. Yeah. Bjorn tries to talk to her, but she's so, like, she's obviously freezing. And
why
is
nobody else like this? Why is it just her?
Because she fell in water.
Okay, fine. Fine, I accept your premise.
Yeah. If she didn't fall in the water, she'd be fine. It's the water freezing.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. So yeah, he takes off her cloak and he holds her and she tries to pull away, but she can't. And he tells Bodil, like, to deal with her feet because she didn't change her shoes or socks or anything. And we get this moment that I hate in books where, like, the person is so out of it that they think, but they actually say it out loud instead of just in their head. Yeah. And I just hate it. But she says it. So she thinks, but actually says she isn't going to die in a battle. She's going to die on a mountain. And Bjorn says, or she imagines that he says, because she's still not sure if she said it out loud, that it's a hill. Which I just fucking love.
He will not leave that alone.
I know. And she asks if this is a hill he wants to die on, which I love it too. And he's just like, that's not funny. And she thinks that she's dying now, and she didn't have the chance to drown in him / have sex with him, and she starts to black out. And I'm just like, damn, what, like, did you say that out loud? I hope not.
I mean, I think it's really just him and Bodil around, and Bodil already sort of gets some, like, sort of suspects something, so.
Yeah. Still, though, I'm like, what? A voice in her head just says this isn't her end, and calls her daughter, and says that she must fight on for them. And she says she doesn't want to, but the voice says she must for herself. And the voice pushes her up, and she says, no, it hurts. And then voices in tandem say, that means you are alive. And then she breathes like she was dying, I guess. And then she just starts screaming from the pain. Okay, so her feet are on fire, and she screams to take them out of the fire. But Bjorn says it's just Bodil's armpits.
Which, can I just be honest and say, this is such a core memory of mine, because I remember when I was really little, I didn't want to wear the mittens that were really good for me. I wanted to be cool and wear, like, those thin, the thin gloves.
Yeah.
And I went out sledding with some of my neighbors. I literally sled down the hill, like, twice. I was out for, like, 10 minutes. And my gloves, that were just, like, cotton gloves, got soaking wet. They were drenched.
Kidding.
Freezing. My hands got freezing cold. And I remember, like, them being in so much pain. And I was like, I'm going to go home now. So I went home, took off my gloves. And that's what my mom did. She put my hands under her armpits to warm them up. Which is gross, but, like...
No, it's sweet, though.
That's the warmest part. So, like, I have a vivid memory of my mom putting my freezing cold hands under her armpits to get warm.
Sweet.
So, like, I relate.
Yeah, I love that. There are soldiers around that are, like, protecting her from the wind by just standing there, I guess. It's like, finally, someone else is doing something for her.
Yeah.
And she thinks, like, she's the one that's supposed to be protecting them. Like, this isn't what is supposed to happen. And she's kind of, like, having a crisis about it, of course, because she's the protector. Mm-hmm. She thinks then, it's another moment, like my favorite moments, of where she thinks but actually says, she's supposed to do it alone. But Bodil says that, Bodil also saw the gods, and no one ever said anything about her being alone. And Bjorn says she's never been alone, and he will be at her back until he crosses the threshold of Valhalla, whether she wants it or not. Which is sweet. And it's a good point, because, like, yeah, she thinks she has to do this all alone, but nobody's ever said that.
Well, maybe. What's his face?
Well,
Snorri.
Yeah, he's an idiot. Yeah. So basically they, like, thaw her out, and she, like, just hugs into Bjorn and just screams through the pain because it sucks. And she thinks the walls around her heart thaw too. Aww. So she wakes up and is still in some pain, and she's in Bjorn's arms, and he asks if she's okay, and she says yes. And thank you. And Bodil is snoring. And Bjorn just, like, laughs and pushes her. So she is feeling mostly better, it seems like. It's almost morning, and she's worried about being able to protect the soldiers tomorrow. And she pushes back into Bjorn's body. And he asks if she's cold. And she says no. And he asks if she needs to piss, and she says no. And he asks why she's wriggling, because it's making it hard to sleep. It's making something hard. And he starts, like, stroking her scarred hand, and she tells him to stop. So he does, but she's like, no, I meant stop asking questions. Stop talking. And she says that she might die today. And he asks if she fears death. And she says no, but she almost faced it with regrets last night. And, like, I think I have he written here, but I can't remember if that's correct. Maybe he does. He puts his hand on her chest and says that she won't die today because he promises to slaughter anyone who tries to kill her.
Yeah.
And he asks if she wants him to stop asking questions, and she moves his hand to her boob and says, no more questions. And he bites her earlobe, and we're like, what the fuck? And she reaches back, like, into his pants and starts stroking him, and he stops her. And we're like, but wasn't this the point? And then he puts his hand under her shirt and feels her up, and then he pulls her pants down and touches her. And I'm like, are the soldiers still there? Is Bodil there? Like, this is in the open.
Everyone
You're not even in tents. Yeah. Ugh. So yeah, he's touching her, and she says that she needs him, and he says that she has him, but she wants more. And she's about to come, and he kisses her to stop her screaming his name. And I'm like, she's probably still making noises.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter how quiet you think you're not being quiet enough.
100%. And after she comes, he says, you're mine, born in fire, even if only the two of us know it. And she thinks that she is. And it's, like, cute, I guess.
I like it.
Yeah. So, I guess a couple hours later, she wakes up in his arms, and Bodil asks if she's okay, and she says that she recovered, and Bjorn just snorts, and he pulls her pants back on her. Like, I'm sure they're under a blanket or something, but, like...
Isn't it suspicious that, like...
Yeah, and also, like, I hope there's a blanket underneath them, because was she just, like, bare ass on them? I know she definitely wasn't, but still. Anyway, he pulls up her pants.
Amazing.
Wild. Yeah. And then Bjorn asks if she can grip, and she says yes, because her fingers were frozen too. And then Snorri asks about her feet, and she looks at them, and her, like, toes are purple, and she can feel the pain, but Snorri asks if she can walk. And so she gets up and tries, and it's hard, and Bjorn says she can't fight like this, and it's his fault. Snorri's. And she thinks if this is truly a test, she needs to do it. And we get that Bodil says, like, she sent for a healer, but it might take 2 days for them to get here. So Snorri's like, we can't wait. And Freya's just like, I'm fine.
Yeah, because that's just the type of person that she is.
Yeah, and she does think that she's more likely to be healed by gods if she's found worthy. So she's like, I need to go through this test to be found worthy. Mm-hmm. So Bjorn calls her stupid, but she says that she won't risk the people. And now they have a 3-hour march, and we kind of jump a bit, and it's feeling like forever, which, like, of course it fucking is. Her feet are still screwed. And Bjorn tells her she looks like she's gonna puke. And they go back and forth a bit about her feeling unwell, and she tells him that he said that she wouldn't die today. And he says he said that while his blood was elsewhere and not in his brain.
I mean, valid. I like that he's telling the truth.
I know, I kind of love it. It's so silly. But she says, like, they need to attack when they have the advantage. And if they stay around here too much longer, nuts, like, people or scouts could find them. And she needs to be a shield. So, like, she is important. She needs to fight. So Bjorn tells Snorri that she can't fight. And Snorri's just like, run to that set of trees over there to prove that you're okay. And
she doesn't.
She fucking sprints. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And
oh, it's so bad.
Yeah, so she sprints over, and then she sees one of their warriors killing a random man. And she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, he has eyes. And she's like,
yes, he does.
Yeah, but it's her moment of realization that, like, this time she is a raider. And, like, she has been raided before. And she's defended herself when people have come to kill her. But she's kind of like, oh, fuck, I'm going to be the attacker this time. Like, what the fuck? And she's about to tell Snorri that she's too injured, but it's too late because he calls to, like, send up the signal, and they're all ready to fight. And you're like, great, good timing.
Yeah, well, fuck.
So Bodil puts blue paint on Freya's face and says that Lynn kisses away the tears of those who weep for the fallen. And may the world drown in the tears left in the wake of their blades today. And I'm just like, fucking wild. Like,
it really goes somewhere that I did not expect it to go at this moment.
Well, like, yeah, I kind of expected there to be a bit of not wanting to kill all these people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
Just a little bit of that. Anyway, someone else says that the decoys have signaled and are moving to attack. And Snorri says, so do we. And he covers his hand in this dead guy who just died's blood. And then he puts it on Bjorn's face and tells him not to disappoint him.
Ugh.
And I'm like,
Ugh.
he's not doing it. What do you mean disappoint you? He's not doing anything. Like,
I don't like it.
what a...
I don't
so
like
bad.
it.
Why didn't he say, like, fight well or anything else in the entire world? He just says, don't disappoint me.
He's just proving that he's a terrible piece of shit, and we probably shouldn't be fighting for that side.
And also, it proves that he doesn't know him.
Yeah.
I think. So Bjorn looks at her and she's just like, oh shit, he's pissed at me. Because if she didn't sprint over, they probably wouldn't have attacked immediately. But she needed to prove she could. So they walk to the edge of the forest and they see the fortress, and there's a cliff on one side. And there's also like a moat, and it has sharpened stakes. So like if you fall in, you're going to die. And there's a bridge, and there are archers. And the decoys that they were just talking about who are in place are actually Bodil's maidens, because they assume that Nut will know that she was training with them. So might assume that she's with them and like put all of his forces against them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they can attack. All of the people that are trapped outside of the entrance are like trying to get back in, and they're the ones that live there. And Freya feels like some sympathy because like this is what she's used to. She's used to being with those people that are just outside of their home and trying to get back when there's a raid. Snorri asks Bjorn to cut down a tree, and then they all kind of line up, and she's behind Bjorn and in front of Bodil, and she's on the side of this ram that he just cut down. And they're going to run towards the gate, and her magic is going to stay hidden until they need it. So they start to jog, and they use, like, their shields to shield from arrows.
Unbelievable.
Right? And one arrow goes through Bjorn's shield and almost hits him in the shoulder, and he is completely fine, but she almost loses her fucking mind. She almost calls on Lynn now, even though she wasn't supposed to. And then one man, I think in the front, is hit and dies and falls. But
really
Snorri yells to hold. Yeah, there's so much death.
But, like, not even that, but, like, she keeps referencing in this moment them, like, walking over this man's body that died. And it's just, like, ugh.
Well, yeah, there's a few that end up dying, too. But then the archers light their arrows, and this time, like, a flanker hits her wrist, but she shakes it off. But she hears others screaming in pain. And they get another dozen feet, and Snorri yells, "Now, Freya." So she calls on Lynn, and it covers her shield, and then Bjorn's, and then everyone else's. I'm like, it's important. He's always second to be covered. Don't know why it's important, but it's mentioned every time. Mm-hmm. And it's just in time to stop some boiling water that's being thrown down on them. So they go back and forth with the ram, and men fall to the arrows, and Freya has to not trip over dead people, and like there's just mud and blood and fire and boiling water on the ground that she's trying not to slip. And she knows if she fucks up, everyone's gonna die.
Great.
A man in front of her... What?
I said great. I'm glad there's no pressure.
Because she's the one with the shield. So a man in front of her screams from being hit with boiling water, but her shield is in place, and she's like, "What the fuck? That's not my fault." And like, obviously, he must have either moved his shield or something. But then, of course, she trips over a corpse, and her shield falls, and Bodil actually grabs her, but then is hit with lightning and falls. And then others are covered in boiling water and start dying, and she can see their faces like boiling. And Snorri yells that they have a child of Thor and to turn back. So Freya looks behind her, and Bodil is still alive, but Bjorn tells her she's lost and pulls her back. So she like reaches out for Bodil, and Bodil was like reaching up for, I assumed at that moment, her, but later we find out what was actually happening. And then an explosion pushes Freya and Bjorn to the side, and he drags her up and tells her to run. And she looks back, and the ram and the men are on fire because they were hit by lightning from Thor's child. It does make me wonder. I can't imagine it's the same girl that was with Harold.
I know. I was thinking about that too, actually.
But I can't imagine it would be.
I don't think it is.
But can there be multiple children of the same? Yeah, there must be. Yeah, because there's multiple seers at a time.
Yes.
It seems like some of them, maybe there's only one at a time. Because it sounds like there's no shield maiden other than her.
Yeah. But I think that's more just a rarity of the gods, maybe? Like.
Yeah. Yeah. So she sees Thor's child, like, up where the archers are. And she grabs her shield, and she runs to the bridge, and she calls on Lynn and kneels in place. And Thor's child calls their magic and end up hitting her with a strike of lightning. Mm-hmm. And it just immediately rebounds and blows a hole into the fortress, and we're assuming kills this other magic user, Thor's child. Or I'm assuming.
Yes,
so far.
We do. Yes, we make that assumption.
Yeah. Snorri yells to attack then because she just like got them through and Thor's child is down. So all the men just start running past her into the fortress. And Freya is just taken by fury that Bodil is dead and won't ever counsel her again. And she feels no pain now, even though her feet are still frozen as fuck. And she starts to attack. And it's kind of like the last time she attacked, that she went into like a blind rage and just kept going until there was nobody left.
Calm, if you were.
Yeah. But there's no one left, and she's still lost to the anger. And Bjorn tells her that she almost died many times, and he was yelling out to her, but she didn't even know he was there. And she's just like, I don't care.
Yeah. I didn't hear you.
Yeah. So she starts to yell out for Nut, who brought it. She says that he brought blood and ash upon them instead of swearing allegiance to the King of Scotland, Snorri. And I'm just like, when did she ever decide that Snorri was actually going to be king? Because this is like the first time. Yeah, I was just like, what the fuck? Why is she? Because there's even a scene, it might be early next week, where she's like, he's calling himself the king. Like, what the fuck? But anyway, and Bjorn tells her to stop, but she doesn't. So Nut comes out, and she says that she thought that he might be hiding with the children. And he tells her to leave them alone. and says that she's the one who killed their parents. And she actually, like, has a moment where she needs to, like, push the guilt down. And she tells him he cares more for his pride than their safety. And she runs at him, but there's a flash of fire and his head just topples off because Bjorn is real good at chopping people's heads off real quick.
With his fire axe.
Yeah.
Can I just say that I love that part, though, where she's, like, so lost in her, like, rage and fury. She's, like, in my brain, she's trailing the sword behind her on the ground and being like, Nut! Come out, come out! And being, like, crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, holy shit, he must have been quaking in his boots.
Yeah. I do like that. I do like the idea that, like, there's something about the battle that does make her a bit unhinged.
Yes. Just slightly.
Slightly. So Bjorn then yells out to ask if everyone else is going to surrender, and they all throw down their weapons and do. So she turns on Bjorn because she's pissed. And he says that she would have been shot by archers while she was killing Nut. So, like, yeah, she might have killed him, but he also would have finished her off, and that would have been the end of everything.
She was walking within range.
Yeah. And then he says maybe that's what she wanted. And you're like, woo, interesting. Because, like, yeah, maybe a little piece of her doesn't want to live. Because this isn't really living.
Yeah.
This is a fucked up life. Snorri just tells them to stop talking, but they don't. And Freya yells that, like, all of this is because Nut wouldn't bend, and Bodil's dead. And Bjorn cuts in that, like, Bodil knew the risks, and then he says, better than you did, to Freya. And Freya just knows that it's her fault that Bodil's dead because she's the one that dropped the shield. And Bjorn says that Bodil died with a weapon in her hand and is in Valhalla now. But Freya starts thinking, and she realizes that Bodil actually dropped her sword to catch Freya. So Freya let her die without a sword in her hand. And she's like, oh shit. She's not going to go to Valhalla now because she dropped her sword to help me.
Oh, are there rules to get in? Like, are there...
Listen, we can't get into a debate about, like, morality of gods and, like, because if that's fucking true, that's insane and so shitty.
Yeah, true story.
But that's what she believes is true, so I'm just gonna go with it because otherwise I'd have to get into a debate about how shitty gods are, and I just
can't.
I can't. I'm not opening up all of my religious trauma here tonight. Maybe later. Depends where these books go.
Love it.
Mm-hmm. So she starts to run because she's like, fuck, she didn't have a sword. And everybody on the bridge is just a charred corpse, basically. And she sees one lock of silver hair and knows that that's Bodil. And she goes over to look at her skull, basically, because her face is gone, too. It's, like, really wild. And she says that she's sorry and this is her fault. And then she looks down and Bodil's hand is actually around her sword. So I'm assuming when Bodil reached for her earlier, she was reaching for her to give her her sword. Yeah. So I don't know if she reached her sword herself or if the gods gave her her sword to be like, yeah, she's in Valhalla because she deserves it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I would assume,
and we'll never know because she's fucking dead.
Yeah. Which is, I did not expect that. Like,
me
she
neither.
Was so prominent in this section. I was like, well, she's gonna be a main character. Nope, she's dead.
She knows the truth. Like, I was like, this is great. We'll know everything.
I guess, yeah, that's true. They couldn't let her live.
Yeah. So Freya just, like, takes the one lock of hair, and I'm like,
weird.
Just pull it off her skull. Like, ow.
Well,
I know she's dead.
Yeah. No, not really an ow, but like...
No.
Yeah.
I guess. So Bjorn shows up then, and she asks if he's there to say he told her so. And she's like, Bodil would be alive if they waited, and if they, like, waited for the healer, and she was able to not trip over a dead body. And he just says, maybe, but, like, maybe it was her time to die, too. Like, he tells her that these thoughts will drive her mad, because, like, being fated is easier because you don't know if every choice you make is gonna fuck up everything around you.
Yeah.
And she says being given the blood of a god is a curse. And he tells her that she wasn't herself today. And he says allowing herself to be controlled by his father will destroy her, and she needs to change her fate. And she just says he might be right, but each time she does try to change her fate, she just makes it worse. Which, like, is kind of fair. Like, I don't really know what she should be doing, in my opinion. Yeah. Like...
But, like, realistically, what has she done to try and change her fate other than go back to Halsar instead of staying at the mountain?
Yeah.
Like, that's really the only thing she's done. And being like,
well,
I need to lead the charge to take over Net's compound. Like, but, like, I feel like her doing that has sort of made everything worse. So, like, I don't know. I think she's swept along for the ride, and I think she needs to stop.
I don't really know how she can do things differently, though. Like, she's changed some things, I'm sure, because, like, she probably wasn't supposed to kill her ex-husband. That probably wasn't, like, part of the plan. But she did it. And, like, I don't know. I just don't know what else, like... She was like, they can't rebuild. They have to take the fortress. I just don't know how she could have done anything differently.
I feel like he just doesn't want her to be so enthusiastic about it. Because, like, when Snorri starts to speak, she does listen. And, like, when he starts to, like, charge up his people, she gets charged up.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe Bjorn just doesn't want her to follow so easily. And, like, maybe be a bit more of a critical thinker.
Sure. But I'm also, like, it's for their people that she feels that way. Because she really does care about the people.
I guess, but my thing is that, like, they're not her people.
Why?
Well, like, I guess we need to define her people. Like, she's not...
Well, Snorri's always been her Jarl.
Yeah.
And her father worked for him and her brother did.
I guess,
so, like,
but, like...
all of his people are still...
technically her people, I guess. But, like, she came from a different village, so it's not like she knows any of these people. Not that that makes it better. It doesn't.
No.
I'm not justifying that. But, like, also, like, she's not the lady of Halsar. You know what I mean? She's Snorri. It's like she's acting like she has to protect these people because they're her people, blah, blah, blah. She's acting like a ruler, and she's not.
But I think that she would have acted like this when she was nobody. Like, I just think that her personality is to protect people. And maybe it's the, like, Lynn influence on her. But, like, her friend and her brother, and we don't know anything about her mother, really. But her friend and her brother are shitty.
Yes.
And her instinct is to protect them anyway. So I just think it's her instinct to, like, protect the people around her.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know what else she can do to change her fate. I'd be like, tell me how. Because I'm like, and I guess she's not wrong. Like, it feels like everything she's doing is just fucking everything up. I guess we'll see next week.
We will see next week.
So we're actually gonna finish her. The book.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not loving where it's going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not loving where it's going. Like, I almost feel like certainly now Bjorn is gonna be... He's gonna not be... I don't know. I feel like our predictions have been correct.
Yeah.
I feel like there's gonna be a double...
There has to be, because we know there's a spy, and they are not going to pull somebody up that we don't know who it is.
Yeah.
It's got to be someone we know.
Yeah.
Like,
and I feel like the double blood thing is going to come into play, and
yeah, because everyone's ignoring it so hard in this book.
Yeah, and I don't like, so like, I feel like our predictions are correct. I feel just like what we've been talking about all day really is like, if Bjorn is like the spy and working for Harold, like, that's gonna make her feel shitty.
Well, yeah, so I do think that this one's gonna
I don't want to
end in a shitty place.
I know, and that's what I don't want to read. I don't want to read about her feeling like shit, because she already feels like shit.
100%. She was literally like, he's the only person that actually likes me for who I am.
Yeah. And, like, she's literally had a shitty time this entire book. Mm-hmm. She was with a shitty husband. Then she killed her shitty husband. She got married to a new shitty guy whose shitty wife is a bitch to her.
So shitty.
So shitty. Then she's got this forbidden love affair with her, like, stepson.
Oh my god.
And, like, she feels like she can't act on it. Her life is threatened a bajillion times. Everyone makes her feel guilty as shit. Like, I feel so bad for her. Like, must be so miserable. Like, is there anything that brings her joy?
She had a friend who we think is shit. And then she had Bodil. And I'm like, she was actually starting, I think, to form a good relationship with her. I don't think Bodil is working against her with Ylva.
No.
Now she's dead anyway, but I don't think she was. But it does make me sad that now she doesn't even have her.
Yeah.
She was just starting. Although, do you think she's going to take over Bodil's women army?
Ooh, that's a cute idea.
That would be a fun turn of events.
It would be a fun turn of events. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
But
I would like that a lot.
I don't want to read about her getting her heart broken by Bjorn finding out that he betrayed her and that he was, like, supposed to kill her.
But that's what it's going to be.
I don't want to read about it is my issue right now. Now that we're getting closer to the end where it's gonna happen. Like, it's been fine for the last couple of weeks. I've been theorizing about it and not having to face it. Now I'm about to face it, and I think it's gonna happen. And I don't want to deal with her grief.
Yeah. I guess the only good thing is the second book is out.
Yes, but do I want to read it?
You don't want to hear more about Bjorn?
Oh, maybe. But I also don't want to deal with him trying to, like,
grovel back into her good books. Yeah, that part's not appealing.
See, it's not. Thank you. I don't know.
It's the nature of a duology. Like,
I guess there's
really fucking is.
Isn't there, like, a thing in books where, like, if you've got, like, a multi-book series, like, you know, first one ends on a low, second one ends on a high, third one ends on a low, fourth one ends on a high, and you gotta, like, go back and forth?
Oh, interesting.
I don't know. I might be making it up, but, like, I thought I read that once. That there's, like, a theory for when you're...
Yeah.
So that people don't get, like, because if you leave them emotionally wrecked every single time, fourth wing.
Yeah. I was just going to say.
They're not going to want to read ahead. Like, they're not going to want to read the next book until the entire series is out, so that they don't feel that emotional wreckage.
Yeah, and if you don't read books until the whole series is out, sometimes the authors don't get the funding to write later books, and then you don't get the series. So then you're fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I feel like Throne of Glass really goes up and down.
Yeah, right? So, like, end of Throne of Glass is good.
Yeah.
End of Crown of Midnight is bad. Heir of Fire is good. Queen of Shadows is actually good.
Yeah.
Obviously, Empire of Storms is a dumpster fire.
As bad as it can fucking get.
Tower of Dawn is good.
Mediocre.
I mean.
But that's my rating of the book.
Yeah. And Kingdom of Ashes.
Yeah.
Is good.
No, you're right.
Right?
Yeah.
So, like,
yeah.
you gotta have levels. Not everything can end as a dumpster fire. Rebecca, your house. Please.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good point.
I don't think, being completely transparent here and completely off topic, I don't think I'm going to read any more Fourth Wing until they're all out.
Oh, really?
I'll buy them just to keep her funded, because my contribution is really going to make a difference.
Yeah, but if a lot of people decide not to buy it, then
so I'll still buy it,
difference.
especially so that I have matching copies. But I probably won't read them until all 5 are out, because I don't like it. I don't like dealing with my feelings.
That's unfortunate.
So yeah, guys, this is where we're at. Reluctant to finish so that I don't have to deal with the feelings.
Well, that's life. That is where life brings us this time. I get it.
Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up for this week. If you want to get in touch with us and share your thoughts on anything you heard in any of our episodes, or if you have any book suggestions, please reach out to us by email at coffeeandcoread@gmail.com, or on Instagram or Facebook at coffeeandcoread and coffee.coread on TikTok.
So next week, we're going to be finishing this book, and Kristen is going to be crying. So finishing is chapters 28 to 36. So make sure to follow along. And if you're enjoying our chats, don't forget to follow, rate, and review wherever you get our content. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll see you on the next page.